I'm making love. I can't get enough. No, I don't need love.
Hey, good morning to you. It is a Wednesday morning. I'm not going to forget that today. Yesterday, I kept thinking it was Monday all day, but I think I'm better this morning. Glad you're with us. Marc Coxon here alongside Kim St. Ange. Ethan Bright back in the chair after his extended vacation. He's looking relaxed, and you're doing well this morning, Ethan. How was that camping trip?
Well, it rained 24/7 for 4 straight days, but other than that, it was great.
Dang.
Just that minor hiccup.
We had a
Yeah,
decent Saturday here. You got all rain down there?
Yeah, every day from 4 in the morning, at least until noon, it rained. And then on Monday, it rained nonstop all day.
That stinks.
It was
I'm
fine.
sorry to hear that.
Played a lot of board games, cards.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, not really what you want for camping per se, but you know.
Well,
yeah, you get to look at a lake and not get in it.
You have to sit around and drink, looking at a lake. I mean,
Well,
I know it's kind of rough.
It was a little chilly, though, to get into any sort of a pool here, too, if that makes you feel any better.
Oh, those people were on the lake. They got in. There were people out there like tubing. And,
did they really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was mostly kids. I mean, yeah, kids don't care.
Yeah, I guess if you're making the effort to go to the lake, it's like, well, who cares if it's raining? Just do it anyway. You're going to get wet, so you might as well just be in the rain.
Yeah, it's a good point. Well, we're glad you're back.
Thank you.
Lots going on. We got the big Missouri Supreme Court ruling yesterday, putting a little bit of common sense back into the abortion issue in the state of Missouri. Not a lot, but a little bit. And these days, we'll take what we can get on those issues for sure. We're going to have a reaction for you this morning from attorney Bevis Schock, who has taken a look at this case. And basically, in a shocking move, the Supreme Court smacked down 2 lower appellate courts and said they didn't properly determine the law. They didn't follow the right things in making this decision. And if you listen to Andrew Bailey, the big issue was safety, just the basic safety for women who have to go in and get an abortion. Remember, this is the debate that was going on with mifepristone, which is the abortion pill, and whether or not women are being put at risk because they're not told what side effects can occur from just inducing your own abortion. And in this case, and we covered this a long time ago, I was shocked to find out that abortion doctors, I mean, that is a specialty, abortion doctors don't have to have the right to operate in local hospitals. So in other words, you're working with a patient and something goes wrong. Most times those abortion doctors don't have privileges to go to the local hospital, the emergency room, and deal with those patients. So they have to be brought by ambulance to the hospital with no input from the doctor that caused the problem to begin with. And when I found that out, I was shocked. But that's what this attempt was, to put a little, just to ensure the safety of the women that were going to be having abortions. And that kind of gets reinstated. And Planned Parenthood calls it a minor setback, a temporary setback.
Isn't it so interesting? A lot of the people who advocate for abortion being legal is say they make the case that it's for the health of the mother, right? The safety of the mother.
Right.
And yet you have all these things that are clearly completely opposite of that. And maybe they had no idea that none of these things were in place, that they're not required to, I guess, have even follow certain protocol when it comes to even the tools that they're using. And
it gets back to the point that it was a deceptive campaign to begin with to convince Missourians this was something they needed to ensconce in the Constitution. So this ruling by the Supreme Court ought to be used in the upcoming campaign to overturn Amendment 3. Here's what you didn't know. This is what Planned Parenthood didn't want to have to deal with in providing abortions. They want to go in, turn on the vacuum cleaner, end it, and they don't care about the health of the mother. And that's it at the end of the day. So or the health of the baby, which is being terminated in this case. So we're going to talk to Bevis Schock about this coming up in the top of the 7 o'clock hour, just to get you some more information from the legal point of view on that particular story that broke late yesterday. There's a special session that starts Monday. That's been called. We got Senator Adam Schnelting on a little later to get his thoughts on whether or not we ought to be providing public financing for sports stadiums. And, I'm a no on it. And I'm guessing from what I've read that Adam Schnelting is a no on it. And we're going to get his thoughts on it. And a little later, as promised, our friends from the State Emergency Management Agency, Mike is going to join us. Mike O'Connell is one of the spokesmen, former colleague of mine at Channel 4 for about 15 years. He was a reporter there and went on to work for the state of Missouri in a number of different departments and communications roles, and he's now with SEMA. He's going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour to talk about some of the details of, as Kim brought up yesterday, what happens to the people whose homes were destroyed who had no insurance. Mm-hmm. Is there state money available for them? Is there federal money available for them? I heard something interesting yesterday that I heard what the city may be doing for those individuals, and I'm going to talk more about that a little bit later. We'll get that coming up. Also, charges have been filed in the Tesla case, Kim St. Ange, which you didn't know. I just found that out. I just found that out a short time ago.
Was it vandalism or what was the charge?
Harassment.
Oh, that's right. It was harassment.
Okay. I've got the charge right here in my hand. So we'll talk about all that for you right now. Ethan, let's get to our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox shortlist.
No matter how much he wants to come out now and say, you know what, we're going to start calling the shots like we see them. Actually, now it's too late. And look, you look at the ratings for all of these legacy media outlets. People are not tuning in because they have lost the American people's trust.
Yeah. Laura Trump, she said, Jake Tapper apologized to her for chewing her out on the air for daring to question the mental capacity of Joe Biden. Now, after the fact, he's apologized to her. She's like, it's too late. You've already damaged your brand by lying about it to begin with.
It is important that we remember history. It's important we remember the 1930s. It's important that we remember that history has taught us that isolation does not equal insulation.
Yeah, Kamala Harris trying to give you a history lesson. Would you believe anything that came out of that woman's mouth?
I couldn't be more pleased to announce that as of today, the COVID vaccine for healthy children and healthy pregnant women has been removed from the CDC recommended immunization schedule.
Thank goodness. What took so long? That's RFK Jr. there yesterday talking about after the new VAERS reporting came out on the number of early pregnancy terminations, like first trimester terminations. They've now dropped this from the CDC website. I hope a whole lot more comes out.
Voted yes to Amendment 3 back in November to allow abortions again in Missouri. But tonight, after a state Supreme Court ruling, the procedures are halted.
Today's ruling comes in response to a circuit judge blocking abortion restrictions.
Yeah, there it is. That was Channel 4 with the breaking news yesterday, which, of course, at this hour is broken. I love that when they go on TV at 5 a.m. and say, breaking news, we're covering breaking news. Well, actually, it broke yesterday. It is already broken at this point.
Well, if they have any little new nugget, then it's breaking.
It's broken yesterday. What's breaking news for you this morning? And I'll guarantee you, I'll guarantee it's not in the local media this morning. Is this story in Kirkwood? Do you think they'll finally cover it today now that this is available to them? I'll do a little bit of show prep for you this morning before you go to the morning meeting. If you're a television news reporter in St. Louis, you can also find this on Missouri CaseNet, just like I did. William B. Howells, employee at Washington University, now charged with harassment for sticking F. Elon stickers all over Teslas. He did this in Kirkwood. Rumor has it he's done this in a lot of other local towns as well. And I don't know that any of them have filed charges against him for it. But he has a court appearance now scheduled for July.
Well, didn't we? Because we did find his picture, which is how we
It's been
initially,
scrubbed.
we initially emailed him. Not surprisingly, we did not hear back from him.
No.
But I did find that very interesting that WashU never got back to us. I expected them not to say anything, but then they just took the image of him down. It was like, oh, we're going to disassociate with him, but not give any reaction.
His LinkedIn has been taken down. Like if you Google his name, you can find that there was a LinkedIn page for him. He's a senior programmer or programming analyst or something at Washington University. That smug little look on his face as he slapped that sticker on there. And then when he got confronted with it, he denied that he did anything. But of course, there are 75 cameras on every Tesla, and you're stupid if you think you can mess with one and not on camera. That's the guy, man. We'll talk a little bit more about it, but I'm just thrilled they finally got around to it. Apparently there was a paperwork snafu last week. I talked to Christian Kirk, the owner of the Tesla that got vandalized, and he said that they accidentally sent the paperwork, the summons or whatever, to his address for Howell's. They got their addresses mixed up, so they had to go back and refile it with his address, and now it's in Missouri CaseNet. So the guy's got a court date set and all that stuff. It'll be a misdemeanor, which is kind of a shame. And I think he should have been charged with vandalism, but instead he got charged with harassment. So now, Kim, today we get to follow up with Washington University and find out what they're planning to do about it.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yes, indeed. All right, we'll get to a quick break. We'll talk a little bit more about that and the abortion story when we come back. Here is our national anthem.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, hey, good morning. We look good on the roads. Things are moving well out there. It's also 5:19 a.m., so I hope so. But we look good through North County. In fact, we look good throughout the entire area. You know, the only thing I heard reported this morning was debris northbound 55 at the 159.2 mile marker, which is pretty far south, that there is a mattress and bed frame in the roadway, and they've sent somebody to get it out. But for the most part, we look great at this hour. And this report is brought to you by Siding Express. Transform your home with the beauty and durability of James Hardie Siding. At Siding Express, they specialize in James Hardie Siding installation. Visit sidingexpress.com today to schedule a free consultation. That's sidingexpress.com. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-million. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The helm is in good hands. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
All right, welcome back. So I was busy looking for that audio of our friend from the Kirkwood vandalism story, because it's this is we mentioned this, and Kim and I have been very careful about this. We have not mentioned this guy's name before he was officially charged, because it wasn't clear to me at first that was going to happen. But just as a reminder, there's plenty of video out there. The link for the Twitter account is probably still up on my Facebook page. If you go back to the first part of May when we first reported this, so it's been almost a month until charges were finally got filed in this case. Took them a while to decide what they were going to do. But if you remember the story, the Christian Kirk parked his car over in Kirkwood and went into a coffee shop. When he came back out, there was an F. Elon bumper sticker slapped on the side of it. And he goes and looks at his camera and he sees this professorly looking gentleman walk by with a little briefcase and walks over and he smacks the sticker on there and walks off. Well, there's video of it. So 2 days later, he drove back to the same coffee shop, parked in the exact same spot, and waited inside to see if it would happen again. Sure enough, here comes the same schmuck who comes along and smacks another sticker on his car. So he confronts him in the restaurant, the little coffee shop there in downtown Kirkwood.
Hey, how you doing? Good. Yeah? You like putting stickers on cars?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't? Yeah, I got a video of you. You don't know?
No.
Okay. That's fascinating. I'm curious what your motive is here, because like I get in the car with my kids. There's curse words people are putting on my car.
All right.
I got you on video. Twice.
All right.
Twice.
I don't have anything to say about it.
You should, man. At least defend your position. Like, be a man. Have a debate with me. You don't want to continue the conversation? No. But you started the conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
I agree with him. Be a man. If you're going to do something like that, at least have the guts to say, yeah, you know what? I did it, and here's why, and I'll do it again.
Yeah, but he didn't have the guts to say that.
I saw Tesla at the in the city the other day when we were at the Botanical Gardens, and it's funny because it had some sticker on the back that said something along the lines of Elon sucks. It's like if you have a Tesla these days, you feel the need to make it very clear that you are not in line with Elon's thinking and Doge so that you don't have your car vandalized.
Yeah, that's true. So, it took them a little while to decide what they were going to charge this guy with. And then they finally got around to it. Mr. Ganninger, the prosecuting attorney down there, finally got around to charging him in Kirkwood Municipal Court. And he's got a hearing scheduled in July. I mean, all this is available publicly on CaseNet. So for Scott, who's on Facebook this morning accusing us of doxing Mr. Howells, I didn't dox him. The court doxed him. When you get charged with something, guess what? Your address, generally speaking, your age, all of that stuff gets put on the charging documents, and it gets posted on the internet.
I wouldn't even call
CaseNet.
that doxing, though.
Well, it's not doxing.
I think doxing is something that's a lot more personal than that. Like if we were to share the guy's family information, his banking information, we're encouraging everyone to go to his house and stake it out. And here's the time he leaves in the morning, and here's the time he returns, and this is the kind of car he drives, and here's his mom's name. I mean, that is what I would call doxing, not sharing public information that anybody listening to us right now could quite literally go onto Missouri CaseNet and access all of this themselves.
Doxing is what they did to the United States Supreme Court justices because they were upset with some ruling they made. And then, of course, the pink hair folks showed up at their doors, and in fact, somebody showed up to try to kill a United States Supreme Court justice because they were mad about a court ruling they made. In this case, I'm not doxing anybody.
I mean,
I'm just telling you, I found, just like I would any day when I was a reporter years ago, you go through court documents and you find charging information, and then that's public record.
And we slap their face, their mugshot on the TV.
Yes.
And the first thing you do as a good reporter is, if someone is charged with a crime, you go to CaseNet and you look up their criminal history, and then you report that too, dating back years.
Yeah.
So that's not doxing.
So Bill Howells is the guy charged here. The official charge is harassment by other means. Subject placed 2 stickers on the victim's Tesla that was equipped with cameras. It alerted the vehicle owner to the incident. The owner was able to show the video footage and positively identify the suspect here now, who's been charged in the case. And it's signed by the prosecutor down there and the officer who did the actual investigation. So it's an ordinance violation, pretty minor, actually. But the point is, he's being held accountable for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's important here. And the other municipalities where somebody came in and complained, somebody slapped an F Elon sticker on my Tesla, should do the exact same thing, so that he faces this in several cities, and other D-bags decide not to do this anymore because they don't want their name read on the radio off of CaseNet.
He also has a criminal record now. I mean, I know it's a misdemeanor, but
right.
Technically he has some record. I guess it depends on how this whole thing is handled.
Yeah, they'll probably let him, do community service and it'll get erased or something. But still,
for now,
don't do that again, Mr. Howells. And if you hate Elon Musk, keep it to yourself and don't touch other people's cars. How about that as a good start? All right, we'll get to Kim on a whim coming up in just a minute.
The Cards, the Orioles.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 5:35. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
The home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
God, remember when the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Pile were flying around the arch selling flooring?
Andrea, that was the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Tile.
Oh, that's right. But we don't need shtick here at Best Buy Flooring.
That's right, because our in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile are already at low, low prices.
Come see us at our 3 area locations, North County, South County, and Metro East. Open 7 days a week.
Plus, free financing on approved credit. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring.
On May 30th, Circle of Care St. Louis will honor Golden Trailblazers at the Respect Your Elders But Make It Fashion event. Take a moment to nominate a trailblazer in your life, someone 65 years or older who's made a lasting impact in our community. When you recognize a Golden Trailblazer, you support Circle of Care's mission to help older adults age in place. Learn more about Circle of Care and submit your nomination at circleofcarestlouis.org.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Cherry Kelly, man, cherrykelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late, cherrykelly.com. Cause Jerry Kelly's always open up until 8. They're certified technicians, I've been told. Will help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold, cherrykelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on, cherrykelly.com.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Artificial intelligence chip maker NVIDIA is among companies reporting earnings today. Adam Turnquist, chief technical strategist at LPL Financial, says NVIDIA is known for exceeding Wall Street's expectations.
I think over the last 5 years, they've only missed their revenue expectations once in the quarter. So it's really going to be how much can they surprise the street what's the reaction? We've had a 40% rally here in NVIDIA off the April lows. So that bar has probably been raised. We think we'll look at the guidance. That's really going to dictate how the stock performs. What are they saying about Q2 and some of their chip demand? And also, what are they saying about tariffs?
Wall Street will also be reacting to earnings from Macy's, Elf Beauty, Dick's Sporting Goods, HP Inc., Bank of Montreal, Abercrombie & Fitch, and others. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola. Invested in you.
Your life and your loved ones' lives depends on what you've done to prepare. Disasters, shortages, supply chain failures, they're not ifs, they're wins. Don't be left without life-saving medication. The Jace case is a prescribed set of emergency antibiotics, life-saving medications you have on hand before you need them, offering peace of mind, no panicking, fast, affordable, and could save your life. Go to jase.com. Use code RADIO for a discount, because once the shelves are empty, it's already.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We look good on the roads this morning. No delays on eastbound 44 or 6440. We're in good shape through there. You know what? I do want to mention this. On 44 today, 9 a.m. until 3 p.m., they'll actually have one lane closed north and southbound on Shrewsbury over the interstate. But that is a cut through for a lot of people. So just know there will be one lane closed north and southbound on Shrewsbury over 44 today, 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. Right now it's open and traffic is moving well through that area. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, you have got a lot of pride in your house. The last thing you want to have in your house along with that is mold. If you have leaks in your basement, your walls have cracks in them, you're concerned you might have leaks, there's only one person you need to call. That's my friend Matt Hayes with Home Shield Foundation Repairs. Listen, it's what he does. If you're sick, you go to the doctor. If you got leaks in your basement, you go to a foundation specialist, except in this case, he does house calls. So Matt Hayes will come to your house personally. He'll walk into your basement and look at the problem. If there's water, he'll determine the source of it, and he will tell you what it's going to take to get it fixed for the least amount of money possible. In other words, he's not there to upsell you on work you don't need done. If you just need it crack sealed, they're going to get it done, and you're going to get a warranty on it. If you've got structural problems, that's a different issue. He's going to talk to you about using the Inva Beam by Fortress. It comes with a lifetime warranty by the manufacturer. That's a structural issue. It's important to get it fixed, though. You have to get that done. In this case, you're working with the guy who owns the company. So he stands behind his work, and he's going to be there for you. It's a local family-owned company, and you can trust that he's going to do the work for you and get it done quickly. And he'll talk to you about the lifetime warranty on all their craftsmanship, by the way. So reach out today. There's a great video right on their website explaining all that they do. Go to homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Have you been notified that your subsidy for Obamacare health insurance is going away? Well, you can leave now while you're still healthy and qualify for much better individual plans. Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com has been helping people get affordable health insurance with great coverage for over 35 years. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA marketplace. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible, and they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan by you, not the government.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
He's right. Marc Cox. Kim on a whim.
How much power do you think your HOA, assuming you have one, how much power should they have when it comes to what you can and cannot do with your home?
Well, most of them are busybodies who have nothing better to do other than that, a reasonable amount. So in other words, I understand why you have a homeowner association to maintain certain standards because there are nuisance neighbors.
Absolutely.
Where it gets overboard is when you put a sign in your front yard in support of a particular political candidate, and somebody down the street who doesn't like that candidate thinks they have the right to come and tell you can't do that.
This is
that
a personal.
goes over
This is
the
a
line.
personal story for you.
But go
right?
ahead, please.
That happened. Did that really? It did happen to you,
It did
right?
happen.
And then you found a way to put it in the window or
But
something.
it is in the rules, so you have to follow the rules, right? I think it's a ridiculous rule and stomps on your First Amendment rights, but that was written into the rules in my new neighborhood.
I can understand not filling your yard with 50 signs
I
for,
think-
say, Donald Trump, but just one sign that's,
Right.
let me call it tasteful. I don't get why that's a huge deal. I know HOAs where
It wasn't even a Trump sign.
Oh, I thought it was.
No. It was a sign against Amendment 3.
Oh, okay.
Which and that made some liberal angry, and they didn't want that done.
Probably complained about it.
But to your point, I think HOAs do have a role because they decide what kind of fencing you can have so that somebody doesn't come in and wreck your neighborhood with hurricane fencing in the front yard because they want to let their dog out front. I mean, that ruins the look of the neighborhood for everybody.
Yes.
So I think you never move into a neighborhood not knowing that there's an HOA. So it's never going to be a surprise.
Well, so I agree that there's a place for HOAs, and in many cases they are necessary. Some neighborhoods don't have them at all, or they're very lax.
Yeah.
I know an HOA where you can't even have a fence. It's not even that they try to dictate what kind of fence. You just can't even put up a fence altogether, which I think
Like
is
in the front?
in the back. Anywhere
In the back.
It's crazy. I think that's crazy.
That is a little crazy.
That's a little bit ridiculous. That seems like a power trip to me. And I wouldn't like that because, I mean, think about this. When you're looking to buy a home in a particular neighborhood, one of the questions that you would typically ask or should ask would be about the HOA
You
and
need
what the fees entail. But I mean, how many people, I'm trying to remember if we read word for word what our HOA rules were, because that might be enough of a deterrent if you don't like some of the things that they're trying to do.
Well, it's like getting married. Don't marry somebody because you think you can change them.
That's true.
Don't do it. Don't if you look at the HOA and it's got a rule in there you don't like, don't say, all right, screw it. I'm going to go ahead and move in anyway, and I'll work to change the rule. It's tough to alter HOAs. It usually takes like a 2/3 vote of the homeowners in an HOA. Then you have to go to the county in which the HOA was filed, or the city, and you have to petition the city to accept the changes. It's not easy so you got to know that in advance.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's true.
Tell me what you think about this situation. This is out of Arizona, where there's this new HOA management company that is controlling this neighborhood, and they were challenging a woman who, she said she was just displaying patriotism for Memorial Day. Her brother, Sergeant John Kyle Daggett, was killed in action back in May of 2008 when he was just 21 years old. So every year around Memorial Day, she puts up flags and banners and other things around her front yard in honor of her brother. And one of the things that she puts up is this, it's like a magnetic poster that has a picture of her brother, and it says something like, "Freedom is not free." Well, what happened was she ended up with this new HOA management company. She ended up getting a letter before Memorial Day saying that the poster that she had put up on her garage was considered a nuisance. Listen to her talking about this.
Put it in comparison with dead plants and dead trees and bushes, and it was kind of offensive to have it be in this, comparison of what they're calling a nuisance.
And she was told to take it down. So she fought it, and they ended up trying to come back and say, oh, we weren't trying to be offensive and, blah, blah, blah. I guess this HOA says the decorations can go up 30 days before a holiday and then must be taken down 10 days after. I guess that's probably standard for an HOA, where they would dictate how long you can have your decorations up.
They dictate how long you can have your RV parked in a driveway.
Yeah, I know that. That's very different.
Well,
though.
but they dictate they do dictate terms of a length. Like, yeah, if you're going to have decorations up. In other words, just out of interest, I wonder if just above this lady's sign, she still had her Christmas lights up.
No, I didn't see that. There's video.
So I'm just saying, I mean, oftentimes you'll find that when an HOA ends up having to approach somebody, it's part of a bigger issue than just that particular thing that they're doing at the moment. In some cases, not in all cases, but I just wondered. Yeah, I think that's kind of ridiculous. The allegation wasn't that she was leaving this up all year round.
No, they just didn't like it. She had been actually fined $500 for this poster when it was a previous management company that was running the HOA, but there was some online petition that had started in support of her, and then she ended up being allowed to keep the display up for other holidays. So Independence Day, Labor Day, Veterans Day, she'll put up all of these things again. Some of her neighbors were talking to those reporters, and they're saying, hey, I love it. Actually, I gave her a flag, that to me is patriotic, and I would support her leaving that up year round. Is it different because it relates to, in this case, her brother who served our country and was killed in the
I mean, and that's the thing about it that I learned it in a previous address, because I ended up stupidly getting elected to the board for my HOA, and what you determine there the problem is some rules are enforced and some aren't. And for years in this neighborhood, certain rules weren't enforced, and then a new group of people came on the board and they tried to enforce a rule that other people had already violated. It dealt with where your fence it's not supposed to come past the back of your house. Like the fence line should be even with the back of your house. It shouldn't like wrap around the side of your house. And some people wanted it to wrap around the side of their house because they had a door there and they wanted to let the dog in and out. If it's muddy, they wanted to let him in and out of the garage. And basically, according to the rules, you can't do that. Well, the problem was that rule had never been enforced. And probably a third of the houses in the neighborhood had already defied the rules. So the new person said, if you enforce this on me, I'll sue you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you sue an HOA, you're effectively suing yourself, because everybody who's a member of the HOA would have to pay any penalty assessed against the HOA.
I would be so irritated about that.
Oh, I know. The whole thing gets crazy sometimes, is my point.
But don't you just feel like some people are nitpicking? It's like they're excited about the power they have, and they're just looking for any way to feel important. Yes. Like, oh, I'm going to enforce this. You can't. Speaking to that situation, you can't do that. You can't allow some people to do it, and then all of a sudden you decide, now we're going to enforce it.
And you know where that's the worst? I just got to say it. It's probably some examples around here. It's the worst the worst example of it I saw was the condo association that my mother belonged to in Florida, because you had 6 people on there that had lived in the building for 30 years. And they were going to do things their way no matter what. And they would raise the assessment every year by $100. So it was up to like $700 or $800 a month for the assessment. And they had very strict pool rules because they were all ancient and they didn't want a bunch of kids in the pool bothering them.
That's just
so
dumb.
It's just nitpicky stuff like
annoying.
that drives you crazy.
See, and I'd want to vote these clowns out.
But they've been there so long, people just kept voting for them.
That's ridiculous. And that's the problem. A lot of people don't want to be on the HOA because you don't want to deal with this nonsense. That's the hardest part of, not that I'm a manager, but that is the hardest part of managing, right? Is dealing with the people.
Watch what you ask for. I'm just saying.
I would not want to serve on our HOA. I mean, we had a neighbor who, I think it's a rental home, which obviously we support that. But they had let the grass was like a jungle. I was waiting to see like an anaconda that would just crawl. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was an eyesore in the neighborhood. Finally, they cut it. And I was almost at the point. I didn't want to be that. I did not want to be that person. But it had been going on for probably weeks where it just looked ridiculous. And I was very close to emailing the HOA president and just being like, hey, just was trying to see if there was anything being done about this. But clearly somebody must have said something because they rented it out because the grass all of a sudden the other week was mowed.
Well, you're right. The problem is when it gets to be nitpicky.
Yes.
When I was a reporter in South Carolina, where personal property rights were like the number one item for most people in South Carolina. Like, they did not like zoning laws at all. If you, by God, if you want to put a purple mobile home on your property right up against the street, and the guy next door had $1 million home they just built with nice landscaping, it didn't matter. They did not want zoning laws preventing them from doing whatever they wanted on their own property. So if a zoning issue came up on the county board agenda for that night, the room would be packed with people, right? But if something serious like, I don't know, a tax increase or something like that came up, there was nobody there. Nobody'd show up. But those zoning issues always brought them out. That's,
I mean, think if your neighbor put like a 15-foot tall weird statue in their front yard. I would not like that because that can affect your property value if people look and they see that next to your home.
So there's a place for it, a place and a time. All right, we'll be back here in just a second. We'll talk a little bit more about that abortion bill decision yesterday handed down by the Missouri Supreme Court. We'll be right back.
The Marc Cox Morning Show
on 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Couple of things to mention on the roads at this hour. First of all, we've got light traffic. Everything is fine. But I did just have a report of a tractor trailer losing part of its load westbound 70 near Zumbel. So it's obviously going to be past Zumbel by now. But they said the doors are open and a few items are falling out. So be careful there. Now, also on the Illinois side today, the main lines will be closed on eastbound 5564 from the Poplar Street Bridge to Broadway/River Park Drive there in East St. Louis. Now, the entrance and exit ramps will remain open, but they've got emergency bridge deck work needed to be done. And they say, we're hoping to only do this through Friday, but we're just giving you a heads up. So, man, we've had all kinds of bridge deck repairs needed on the immediate Illinois side this year. And on the Missouri side and the Illinois side right now, things look good, and we're generally quiet. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan of McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
All right, a message for you from my friends over at Air Comfort Service. Heads up on any damage you might have received from that storm that might affect your air conditioner. I wouldn't have thought about it, but they're worried about it because this is the business that they're in, right? This could potentially add to any insurance claim that you have because those outside air conditioning units are expensive. Let's put it that way. So here's what you need to look for. According to Air Comfort Service, hail can hit the top of those units, and it can bend those coil fins on the top and the sides of your air conditioning unit outside. Here's what happens. That restricts airflow, and it keeps your AC from running properly and efficiently. Now, go look at your unit. If it looks like there's hail damage, you need to give Air Comfort Service a call. Their expert technicians can come out. They can assess the amount of damage. They can give you all the information you need in case you need to get your insurance company involved in something like that. They'll make sure that they get your AC working properly, and you can immediately file your insurance claim and make sure those lingering issues don't follow you into that 100-degree weather that we know is just around the corner. So you get a hold of Air Comfort Service. You tell them you heard Marc Cox talking about it because, of course, they're the company I always use. And in fact, they're about to come out and do some maintenance on my new air conditioner situation that I got fixed last year. I had a brand new unit put in. It's beautiful. Call them at 314-513-0091 or just go online. That's aircomfortservice.com/storm.
If you're looking for the perfect weekend getaway that's close to home here in St. Louis, it's Innsbrook, just to the west of St. Louis, 100-plus lakes, hiking trails, a gorgeous golf course, and plenty of options for living, either full-time or with a vacation home. And this year at Innsbrook, the new Sonnenhaus homes are available. The Tyrolean Sonnenhaus combines the modern exterior of a treehouse with the cozy interior of a cottage. They are awesome, and you can find out more and explore everything about Innsbrook easily at Innsbrook-resort.com. That's Innsbrook-resort.com.
Stop. Before you dig, click or call 811. Every dig, every time.
Digging without having your underground utilities marked is like driving with your eyes closed. It's dangerous and irresponsible. Before you break ground, contact Missouri 811 online or by simply calling 811 to request a utility locate 3 working days before starting.
Stop before you dig. Click or call 811. Every dig, every time.
It's the law. Sponsored by Missouri 811.
97.1 FM Talk is proud to partner with Guns N' Hoses to support St. Louis area tornado victims, and we need your help. This is Annie inviting you to bring supplies to Dave Munganess, St. Louis Honda, Monday through Saturday. Visit 971talk.com/relief.
He's got the ammo. Marc Cox.
Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com.
All right, thanks to my friends in the band Drawl. That's DRAWL. That's some of their music. I just heard them for the first time the other night. Turn this back up for a minute. This one's called Fast Train. All right, so they're awesome. You can find them up on the Facebook. By the way, one of their band members was listening yesterday when I mentioned that I had their CD, but I couldn't get it. I couldn't find a CD player here at the station to transfer the music to my computer. So they sent me a link to their Google file, and they sent me the music yesterday. So I now have it in my music files, and I'll play a couple more of them throughout the course of the morning. But if you go to Drawl STL, they mentioned us on their Facebook page yesterday because they heard the shout out, and you can find the list of places where they're going to be playing coming up, like Johnny's Hideout, and they got a bunch of different outings coming up, upcoming events where you can hear them. Edmondson City Park, the Roadhouse Barn and Grill, Dyer Park in Warrenton. They're going to be playing at Hot Summer Nights in St. Charles. These are all upcoming shows, so you can go check them out. Good job, guys. That was that's good music. And did you like that? That was sort of country rock.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
I thought you might. Like I enjoyed that a lot. So thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate that. Hey, this abortion decision yesterday. If you missed the top of the show, Bevis Schock, a local attorney with Schock Law, is going to come on and kind of break this down for us at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. I didn't want to make him get up too awful early this morning. He goes down and gets his morning coffee. I know that, but he's going to join me at 7 because this is a big deal. And here's the thing: when you read more about it, and the Attorney General Andrew Bailey did put out a really good piece on this yesterday, kind of explaining why they went to court to challenge this, because this new law that the Crazy Pink Hats went out and supported last November makes abortion access basically unrestricted. And guess what it also did? It also tried to override Missouri's existing safety requirements if you're going to do abortions. We don't want you to do abortions, but if you are, there are some basic things you need to do, like, I don't know, Kim, how about sterile equipment?
That seems like a reasonable request.
Clean facilities. Missouri had an infection control rule that the abortion lobby fought to block. No coerced abortions. Activists attempted to erase that. Qualified abortion providers. So Missouri law required abortions to be performed by licensed physicians with specific medical credentials. So you're not going to somebody who, has questionable medical background just because they're willing to go in and perform abortions. These clinics hire them. These are all things that the state of Missouri challenged this law on, and these two lower court judges completely ignored all of these concerns and just let Planned Parenthood hang out the open for business sign, or open for death, however you'd prefer to put it. They also, guess what? How about emergency plans for complications? Abortion providers must maintain written emergency protocols and agreements with nearby hospitals to treat serious complications like hemorrhaging or sepsis. And these are things that the abortion lobby didn't want included in Missouri law when it came to abortion. It's pretty shocking when you think about it. Ultrasound right. Missouri gives women the right to receive an ultrasound and the opportunity to see and hear the fetal heartbeat. It's not a requirement. It's a right. And the abortion providers fought this because, of course, they don't want women realizing they're about to terminate a life that's already, its heart is beating and its little legs and feet are kicking. They don't want you to see that.
Yeah.
So these are things the Supreme Court said you got to go back in and this is reasonable to have these restrictions, and Planned Parenthood calls it a bump in the road. We'll see. We shall see. Hopefully we can use this as part of the campaign to convince people to overturn this abortion of a law. How about that? I think that's what needs to happen. All right, coming up, we'll get you a check of business on the other side of the hour, and we'll talk to our friend Senator Adam Schnelting at 7:35. Stay tuned.
Hey, it's Marc Reardon for Zero Res, and let me give you a little incentive and inspiration to get your home really, really clean the right way. And it's not just about the carpet cleaning, although that's what they really specialize in. They're professional carpet cleaners. They've been in St. Louis and in Missouri for a long time, but Zero Res can handle every surface in your home. Carpets, tile and grout, hardwood, laminate, stone, upholstery, rugs, and air ducts. And you know Zero Res as the zero residue carpet cleaners that don't leave behind any of the dirt-attracting soaps and chemicals that other carpet cleaners use. Don't risk the other guys. Don't do DIY. I've made that mistake. Your carpets are going to be worse off in the long run. So this month, take advantage of a great offer. Get 3 rooms, Zero Resified from St. Louis's #1 carpet and air duct cleaner, starting at $129, and take $75 off your air duct cleaning package. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy, and clean air. Call Zero Res right now, 314-474-2020. You can also book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Say you want the Marc Reardon or the 97.1 FM Talk special. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
When disaster strikes, the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis is there. Tornadoes have left families displaced and communities in crisis, but you can help. The Urban League Tornado Disaster Relief Humanitarian Fund provides emergency shelter, food, clothing, and critical support to those affected. Your donation brings hope when it's needed most. Visit ulstl.com to donate. That's ulstl.com. Stand with us. Stand for St. Louis.
Hi, this is Steve Butts with the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. I know we're all experiencing sticker shock when you get your insurance premium. Now more than ever, you need an independent insurance agent to find the best value for your family's insurance needs. Crawford Butts, family owned and operated for more than 60 years. Please give us a call at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
A new way to keep foreign students out of the country. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Trump administration planning a temporary pause on new visa interviews for students wanting to come to the U.S. to study. State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce says,
it seems to be such a controversial thing that's going on, but it shouldn't be. And every nation should take seriously and does who's coming in.
And there are reports the administration plans to ramp up vetting of those foreign visa applicants through social media. And this is the administration keeps trying to block Harvard from enrolling new international students while also freezing federal funding for the university, alleging there's a universities allowing anti-Semitism to flourish on campus and protests endangering Jewish students.
In an interview with the Harvard Gazette, University President Alan Garber says Harvard will argue this week, with a hearing slated for Thursday, that the temporary restraining order granted by federal judge Allison Burroughs should be extended, offering relief to the thousands of international students who make up 27% of the student body. This as the Trump administration demands a list of Harvard's international students.
That's Fox's Molly Line in Cambridge, Massachusetts. More trouble in Gaza, this time at a new food and aid distribution site for Palestinians. A crowd stormed it, breaking through fences. Then security forces opened fire, killing at least one person, injuring nearly 50. Trouble for SpaceX. Yet another test flight of its Starship fails. It did reach space last night, unlike the last two, but then
at this point, we are kind of in a spin.
And the spacecraft was lost. Most of it believed to disintegrated on re-entry. President Trump's getting ready to pardon a famous TV couple, the Chrisleys, who were in prison, saying this to their daughter Savannah in a call on X.
To inform her that he would be granting full pardons to her parents, Todd and Julie Chrisley.
Give them, I don't know them, but give them my regards.
The Chrisleys shot to fame due to Chrisley Knows Best, which followed their tight, boisterous family and their lavish lifestyle.
Well, Fox's Michelle Polino, they were convicted of bank fraud. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. 55 degrees now at 6:03. Missouri's abortion ban is back, at least for now. This comes after the state Supreme Court ruled Tuesday a circuit court judge applied the wrong standards and rulings on specifically safety requirements for abortion providers. The Supreme Court says that Jackson County judge needs to use a different standard and reevaluate the case. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe has called a special session to discuss funding for the Chiefs and Royal stadiums, as well as relief for local tornado victims. Lawmakers will also have a chance to pass any capital spending projects that didn't pass during the regular session. That special session begins Monday. We'll be chatting with Senator Adam Schnelting about the session at 7:35. A Berkeley man is demanding the owner of a pit bull be held accountable after the dog bit him. Brandon Jamison says he was at his friend's house earlier this month when that dog bit him in the face. Because of it, he had to have surgery. Jamison has since filed a report with Berkeley police. By the way, there is a ban on pit bulls specifically in Berkeley. Now, police don't know where the dog's owner is. If he's found, though, he could face a fine or possibly even jail time. 6:04, 55 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk. In sports, hey, a win for the Cardinals yesterday, beat the Orioles 7-4, the final score. They'll be wrapping up that series this evening at 5:35. The big news for local sports, if you haven't heard already, is St. Louis City's head coach Olaf Melberg is out. The team announced his firing Tuesday after what I would call, I think many of you would too, a rough start to the season. Just 2 wins in the first 15 matches. City's next match, by the way, coming up this Saturday. 55 degrees now as we approach 6:05. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we're off to a fairly good start in that we've got light traffic out there but there was a deer carcass. Watch out for that. Northbound 270 at Gravois in the left lane. It looks like they may have removed that. And IDOT has announced it will close the mainline lanes of eastbound 5564 from the Poplar Street Bridge to Broadway in East St. Louis today. And that will be today through Friday. They've got emergency bridge deck repairs with which to deal. Now, other than that, we're okay. And things look good on the Missouri side, eastbound 70, 64, 40, and 44. Quiet on the Illinois side as well. This report brought to you by Siding Express. Transform your home with the beauty and durability of James Hardie Siding. At Siding Express, they specialize in James Hardie siding installation. Visit sidingexpress.com today to schedule a free consultation. That's sidingexpress.com. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Not much going on with our weather today. Partly sunny skies, pretty nice temperatures for this time of year, 76. Just a tiny chance of a sprinkle. Tonight, partly cloudy, 55. Evening temperatures dropping through the 70s. Not bad at all. Thursday, another weak system coming by. Partly to mostly cloudy, some scattered showers, 74. Scattered showers Thursday night, but Friday is sunny and 75. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
6:06 right now and 55 degrees downtown at the Arch. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show on 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere. Just download the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
Listen to both sides. The bottom line is, I respect that. We don't agree.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Just to find a voice. Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
I don't know how to put this.
Marc Cox.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Well, it adds excitement, doesn't it, folks?
All right. Good morning to you. The 28th day of May here. It's a Wednesday morning. It is probably about, what is it, officially 60 degrees outside. It was in the 50s when we got up this morning. So it has warmed up before you have to head out the door. We've covered a little bit of breaking news for you this morning. Charges have been filed in the case of that Tesla vandalism over in Kirkwood. We've been waiting on this. There was a little bit of paperwork snafu last week, I understand. And it's just now, it just hit CaseNet yesterday afternoon. And we've been reporting on that this morning. The guy's been charged with harassment for vandalizing Teslas in Kirkwood. And maybe, Kim, just maybe we'll get a little bit of news coverage out of this morning, or maybe not.
Probably not.
I don't know. I have reached out to several of my friends in the media just to make sure they're aware. I'll do a little show prep for them. I don't know what they were waiting for. I can't believe they were unaware of the story. It's a national story of these idiots going around and vandalizing people's personal cars because they're unhappy with the guy whose company built them a year ago or 2 years ago or 4 years ago or however old the car is. And now you think doing damage to this individual who owns the car now is somehow having an impact on Elon Musk. It's just crazy. Anyway, the guy's been charged. We'll be talking more about that. We're going to have reaction to the abortion decision by the Missouri Supreme Court yesterday, which puts a halt on the death machine, at least briefly, until it goes back to a lower court and they have a chance to look this over. So Kim's been reporting on that this morning. We're going to get Bevis Schock on with us, attorney, in about an hour to talk a little more about this. He's with Schock Law, and he can kind of break down what the ruling does, how quickly he thinks it's going to take for this lower court judge to change their reasoning for why they didn't require or reconsider some of these safety issues around the abortion procedure before it can go forward. And we'll have details on that for you at 7:00 hour. Also at 7:35, we will talk about your tax dollars going for a new baseball stadium for the Kansas City Royals. How do you feel about that, Cardinal fans?
And the Chiefs.
And it upgrades to Arrowhead Stadium. So it wouldn't be a new stadium, but they would get
millions
some
of dollars, though,
upgrades.
right?
Yeah.
It's not like it's
maybe they're going to put a roof on it. What do you think? I'm just kidding.
Don't they get? No. Is it the Chiefs that typically the fans that have it's like loudest stadium or something like that?
Probably one of the
Royals. I can't remember which one. No, Chiefs. Okay.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll talk to Adam Schnelting about that. He's going to get called into special session starting next week. Is when the governor's called that special session to find out about that. I know among a number of friends of mine who are in conservative circles, they are very opposed to this idea. And we'll talk more about Jeremy Cady, in fact, has written a big piece about his opposition to it. And surprisingly, some people on the liberal side of the equation are equally concerned about the payout, right? Like you spend the money, what's the payback? And it just economically, it's not there in terms of what it adds to the economy in a town where you've spent millions of dollars of taxpayer money on a stadium. We'll have that for you coming up as well. And we're going to talk about this state emergency management and federal aid for disaster recovery here in the St. Louis area. The people who are now homeless, who maybe didn't have any insurance. So what are they going to do? And we'll talk to Mike O'Connell, who now works for the State Emergency Management Agency. Years ago, he was a reporter with me at Channel 4. So we'll get my friend Mike on here at about 8:20 this morning to talk about that. But right now, let's get to our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox Short List.
Clearly, he was not up to speed and wondered if it was connected to his age. These are policy decisions that an incapacitated president could have affected. I agree. This could be far worse than Watergate.
Kayleigh McEnany there talking about Jake Tapper's book and the controversy around what they knew about Joe Biden's dementia and how long they actually knew it.
Work requirements were provided within there. That was some of the most major reforms of Medicaid that helps protect and save the program for the people that need it. This only deals, Mark, with able-bodied, healthy adults.
Yes, Congressman Jason Smith there trying to tell the truth about this big, beautiful bill. The Democrats are out there lying about it every day. It's gonna hurt children. It's gonna do all they did was impose work requirements for able-bodied people if they want taxpayer-paid health care.
I'm finding myself pretty scared about a lot of things, scared about losing my rights as a woman, scared about losing my right to vote as a woman.
Did you know they're repealing your right to vote, Kim?
I didn't. I missed that.
That is actress Kira Sedgwick, who went on TikTok and warned the world of all the dangers to her personal rights that are apparently at risk because of Orange Man Bad.
Voted yes to Amendment 3 back in November to allow abortions again in Missouri. But tonight, after a state Supreme Court ruling, the procedures are halted.
Today's ruling comes in response to a circuit judge blocking abortion restrictions.
Yeah, there you have it. There's the intro last night over on Channel 4 to the breaking news about abortion. And couldn't turn around the Attorney General this morning, but we are going to talk to Attorney Bevis Schock about this decision coming up at the top of the hour at 7:00. As you can imagine, there was pretty swift reaction to this. Planned Parenthood called it temporary, but all this is about is the state trying to make sure there are basic safety requirements in place before women go through what can be a very dangerous procedure. Listen to a little bit more of this story. Go to cut 4, please.
We voted for the rights to have an abortion here in the state of Missouri.
Missouri resident Jerry Richardson reacting after hearing abortions are back on pause in Missouri after the state Supreme Court's ruling.
And we hope that it
stays in effect for a long period of time.
Head of Campaign Life Missouri, Samuel Lee, applauded the decision Tuesday. The court ordered a Jackson County judge to vacate previous rulings blocking abortion restrictions.
Supreme Court has reined in a rogue judge from Jackson County who is went way beyond her boundaries.
Those specific restrictions included abortion facility licensing requirements, a 72-hour waiting period, and parental consent laws.
They were based on making it harder to access abortion. And right now, without these injunctions in place, abortion is out of reach of Missourians.
It's not. How was it making it harder to have an abortion to require that doctors be medically certified? How's that? You know why? Because not many doctors want to perform abortions, and the ones that do are not often the ones that local hospitals want to have anything to do with. And that is tying the hands of Planned Parenthood.
Well, it also would require, I guess they're saying, minors to get parental consent, because the 13-year-old should not be able to walk into a Planned Parenthood and say, I want an abortion, and they just do it. And we know that is happening where they're saying, oh, if you can't get one here, we'll even provide you the transportation that you need to cover the cost of that procedure. Just we'll help you out.
Let us all celebrate this brief pause in the killing fields of Planned Parenthood. It may not last long, but we'll enjoy it while it lasts. A few lives may be saved in the next day or two before they start back up, and you know that's coming. It's just a matter of time. All right, we'll take a quick break here. Lots of things happening yesterday on the international front as well, including the president. The president's offering the Golden Dome, by the way, to Canada. And maybe in return for them becoming the 51st state. I heard him suggest this yesterday. You want our protection? Come on in. We'll make you like the California of North America. How about that? Not that that's going to happen, but we'll chat about it coming up. Bottom of the hour, we'll get you a check of business with Nicole. Stay tuned.
Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com. Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. Just a little bit of volume out there this morning. Pardon me. And part of that would be northbound 270, a little bit slow at Gravois, where we had a deer carcass there earlier that had to be removed. And other than that, we look good. Northbound 55 is in great shape in the city, but it's a little slow down south. And if you happen to be traveling there, let's say approaching Highway Z, there is a slowdown. So just north of Festus to just past Herculaneum is a slow go on 55. And other than that, we look good. Eastbound 44 is in good shape. 6440 is in good shape. So is 70. Oh, but now I'm seeing an accident on westbound 70 just past Adelaide. So if you're traveling out of downtown, there is a delay. Looking good on the Illinois side as well. Really no issues if you're headed in from Illinois at this hour. This report is brought to you by New Perspective Senior Living. New Perspective Weldon Spring is redefining senior living with modern apartments, delicious meals, activities, entertainment, even a state-of-the-art AI fall detection system. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Let's talk about your backyard for a moment. And of course, this nice, cool weather we're having right now before the heat heads in. You know, you might be thinking about, hey, it'd be great to have a screened in porch so those mosquitoes can't get me when I'm sitting on my porch and trying to enjoy the weather. They do that for you at Chesterfield Fence. And right now, if you mention my name, here's the great deal. 48 months interest-free financing is on the table. So you can get the work done right now and then enjoy it this summer. And you have plenty of time to pay for it. And you're not paying any high interest rates. And that is a big deal in this sort of high interest environment that we're in right now. You can get it done by a fantastic company right here in town. They've been around since 1968 under the same family ownership. And wow, I mean, I've seen their work. In fact, if you go to their showroom, you can walk into some of these examples they built there in the showroom of the all season rooms, right? The pergolas, fences, the decks, they do it all. They've got that maintenance-free decking and fence stuff as well in a variety of different colors, and it's gorgeous and it's maintenance-free. You don't have to worry about it. You have to go out and restain it every few years, right? They'll take care of that for you in a hurry. And when you got their sign in your front yard, it is a sign. You have the very best. Take advantage of them. The 48 months interest-free financing, mention my name. Go online today to chesterfieldfence.com.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes to the IRS. Billions in tax relief is now being made available to struggling taxpayers, giving thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in savings away to those who qualify. If you're facing wage garnishment, threatening letters, audits, liens, levies, or already in a payment plan, you can now expedite the resolution to your tax problem, end collections, and even qualify to reduce a large portion of what you owe. Stop IRS Debt has established a relief hotline for you to call to check what savings and options you qualify for. Dial 800-317-1890. With many people facing job loss and rising cost of living, these special IRS initiatives are designed to aid delinquent taxpayers with the relief that they need to get a fresh start. For a free consultation to see what savings you qualify for, call 800-317-1890. 800-317-1890. 800-317-1890.
The Diamond Shop graduation sale. All watches are 20% off, even Movado. Men's jewelry is 40% off. 40% off Pirelli G and gold fashion jewelry. Everything else is 30% off. The Diamond Shop.
The Cards, the Orioles.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 5:35. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
The home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM KMOX. AM Drive Bliss. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. The Marc Cox Morning Show. On the air and streaming at 971talk.com.
Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles, even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space. And we will have the best system ever built. As you know, we helped Israel with theirs, and it was very successful. And now we have technology that's even far advanced from that, but including hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, and advanced cruise missiles. All of them will be knocked out of the air. We will truly be completing the job that President Reagan started 40 years ago, forever ending the missile threat to the American homeland. And the success rate is very close to 100%, which is incredible when you think of it. You're shooting bullets out of the air. I'm also pleased to report that the one big, beautiful bill will include $25 billion for the Golden Dome to help construction get underway. That's the initial sort of a down deposit.
Yeah. So the president's comments there yesterday on the Golden Dome. I'll get back to this in a second. He mentioned that Canada has already called. They're interested in being under the dome in the instance that we do this. And Trump's like, I think we could arrange that if you're the 51st state. And he said they're interested. Now there's been no comment yet. There's been no comment yet from the Canadians, eh?
There's no way that Canada would do that. I mean, if Canada were willing to pay enough money to the United States, don't you think that Trump would say yes?
I'm sure.
Despite the fact that the dome, Canada, it's been funny that Trump's been kind of toying with them and saying, "Oh, become the 51st state." There's just no way Canada would do that. And honestly, it could actually, in some ways, hurt us because they're so woke and liberal in Canada that they would then have a lot of power that could impact some of our elections. I'm just saying.
So sometimes I hesitate to school Democrats because I don't want to tip them off to potential strategies. But Kim, I lived through the Reagan presidency. proudly. Got to vote for him the second time he ran for when he ran for re-election. And here's what, do you remember Star Wars? Not the movie. They called Ronald Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative Star Wars. The Democrats made fun of it. It'll never happen. The technology's not there, blah, 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 blah. You know, Ronald Reagan won the Cold War. Do you know how he won the Cold War? He bankrupted the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union could not keep up with the technology and the military spending of the United States, but they tried, and they failed miserably, and their economy collapsed, and you know, they ended up falling apart. What Donald Trump has announced here is the equivalent of the SDI initiative of Ronald Reagan. And whether it ever becomes reality or not, he's sending a message to Iran, and he's sending a message to Russia and any other bad actors in the world. Guess what? Before I'm out of office, we're going to have the equivalent of an Iron Dome. We'll call it the Golden Dome. Should have called it the Orange Dome, I think, just for kicks.
Surprised you didn't say the Trump Dome.
Over the United States. And after that, there'll be nothing you can do to us. You can build all the intercontinental ballistic missiles you want to Iran, although we've said we'll never allow them to have one because it's Israel they want to wipe out. But North Korea, Russia, all these countries who pose a threat to the United States with intercontinental ballistic missiles are out of business if that happens. So what does that mean? That means that between now and then, they either strike some kind of an agreement with the United States, or they suddenly try to compete with the United States in building their own missile defense system, which will bankrupt some of these countries. They don't have the technology or the money to do it. I think it's a brilliant stroke on Trump's part. Whether it gets built within the next 3 years, which seems to stretch imagination, unless there's a lot more existing technology than we know of. Whether it actually gets built is irrelevant.
But why
the promise that it's going to be built will be enough to drive some of these little tin pot dictators completely nuts.
Aside from the money, and considering the fact that this would be a much larger territory to have the Golden Dome versus what Israel has with the Iron Dome, why is it so complicated to build it? Because I get aside from funding and stuff, because the Iron Dome was first deployed in Israel in 2011.
Right.
That's old. All things considered.
Because
if it's not, it cannot be a lack of technology.
How
it's gotta be a funding.
How do you decide who lives and who dies? The United States is huge.
That's the biggest challenge.
The challenge is
money.
covering an area the size of the United States as opposed to the state of Israel.
Well, it's not a lack of technology, though.
No, I hope not.
Yeah.
Hope not. All right, quick break. We'll have a check of business when we come back. Stay tuned.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Well, we were just talking about interest rates a minute ago. Have you checked out particularly short-term interest rates on credit cards and all of that? So if you've got to put a purchase on a credit card, your interest rates may be in the 20s. I mean, it could be that high. Here's why I make this point. At Window World right now, they are offering 18 to 36 months interest-free financing. If you need to want to put new windows in your house this summer, get it done. Take 3 years to pay for it for people that are approved for the credit for that. And that's like free money, right? Basically, you're not having to pay any money to finance new windows for your home. And my friends at Window World are happy to offer that to you. You can go to their website to find out more details on it, windowworldstl.com, or call them at 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. It's windowworldstl.com.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. 55 degrees now at 6:30. Two big stories out of Missouri. A temporary halt on abortion after the state Supreme Court ruled a circuit judge applied the wrong standards for providers when it comes to safety requirements. And the governor called a special session to discuss funding for the Chiefs and Royals stadiums and relief for tornado victims. We'll be breaking down the Supreme Court ruling with Bevis Schock at 7:08 and the special session with Senator Adam Schnelting at 7:35. A St. Charles, Missouri man facing murder charges accused of shooting and killing a man in Washington Park, Illinois. Illinois State Police say 27-year-old Donovan Davis shot 26-year-old Marc Morris back on May 12th. That happening in a 2200 block of Kings Highway. At this point, no word on what led up to the shooting. In sports, Cardinals beat the Orioles 7-4 yesterday, the final. They'll wrap up that series this evening at 5:35. Big news, though, St. Louis City's head coach Olaf Melberg is out. Team announces firing Tuesday after a rough start to the season, just 2 wins in the first 15 matches. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got an accident this morning on westbound 70 past Adelaide, and it's been blocking the 2 left lanes. So if you are caught in a jam trying to leave downtown, that is the cause of the problem. And it looks like, those 2 left lanes remain blocked, only 1 right lane getting by, and it may be a fuel spill involved in that. It does look like there's some sort of liquid there on the highway. Now, other than that, let's see. We've got moderate volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge, northbound 270 with moderate volume in pockets, 55 on up through Manchester. Northbound 55 this morning is a slow go in the Crystal City area through the construction zone headed for Z, and then some moderate volume around Bayless. And then other than that, we actually look pretty good. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. This report brought to you by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning on 97.1 FM Talk.
In the 70s, baseball player Jerry Kelly decided to do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
This year, the company Jerry started decided we'd do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air and Electrical.
And electrical.
JerryKelly.com.
It's probably fair to assume that most of us, hopefully all of us, really care about taking good quality of our home. It's a big investment. And so that means that, say, for example, if your windows are not working like they should, you've tried to open them up this week to let some of that nice air in, the spring air, and they're jamming or they're cracked, or when we've had all this crazy rain that you've noticed it's letting some of that water in. Well, that could be an indication that the seal is worn and that you need new windows. Don't panic. Just call Lakeside Renovation and Design and specifically ask about their Infinity from Marvin windows. If this is the very first time you're hearing about these Infinity from Marvin windows, here's what you need to know. They're 8 times stronger than the typical vinyl window that's probably on your home right now. So they are designed to stand up to the elements. And we have some crazy weather here in St. Louis. So we know that that's important, right? When you're making a decision like what windows to put on your home. One of Lakeside's in-house designers, they're going to work with you throughout the whole process, and they're going to help you customize them to your home. So color, trim, I know there's like a black color that's really in, but what's really cool about Lakeside too is they obviously are going to make sure the job gets done right, but they also care about making sure that you're happy and that maybe you can save some money. They even put a video up saying different things that they can do to help you save money. I really appreciate that, right? And what you should know too about Lakeside is they specialize in not just windows, but a bunch of outdoor, indoor spaces. So kitchens, baths, decks, roofing. There's a really cool video they posted. I saw it this morning about a basement remodel that they did. I know that's something we would love to do. Family-run business, been doing this here in the St. Louis area for close to 30 years. They back up their work with a lifetime workmanship warranty. This is a company you can trust. Call Lakeside today for your free consultation, 636-978-5000. If you need windows or a door specifically, the best website to go to is windowsbylakeside.com.
Another RX Watch brought to you by Onder Law.
There's an evil new twist in the tragic story of baby powder and its link to ovarian cancer. Recently uncovered documents reveal that talc can contain asbestos.
The same asbestos that we know causes mesothelioma.
Right, and ovarian cancer.
In the 1970s, the industry wrote its own rules, allowing Johnson & Johnson to claim that its talc was asbestos-free, as long as it contained less than 1% asbestos.
Of course, Johnson & Johnson helped write those rules. So while we're using hazmat suits to remove the asbestos from our homes, Johnson & Johnson was telling women it's safe for their bodies.
Unbelievable. So if you've used talcum powder for feminine hygiene and contracted ovarian cancer, call Onder Law at 1-800-RX-WATCH.
They've already won several large verdicts against Johnson & Johnson for women just like you.
Call Onder Law at 1-800-RX-WATCH. That's 1-800-RX-WATCH or go to rxwatch.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, if you can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today. 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Cut through the hype. Get to the truth. The Marc Cox Morning Show. Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
No, but you started the conversation, right?
Well, I don't have anything to say. I don't have any comment.
Okay.
Yeah, the show prep has started for the local news media. By the way, in case you're wondering this morning, you know somebody. I've already texted a couple of my people I know in the business. That is the sound of the suspect in the Tesla vandalism case in Kirkwood. Charges were officially filed against him yesterday. Now it'll be interesting to see if the media actually covers the story. It happened a month ago. In the backdrop of all this Tesla vandalism going on around the country, we have a case right here in Kirkwood, and the local news media has ignored it. Now the guy's been charged with harassment, and we'll talk about a little bit more about that here coming up shortly. I promise you that. All right, right now, let's get to Nicole Murray, who, listening to her this morning, by the sound of her voice, she must have had a really good weekend.
I'm here. I made it. Sort of.
Sort of. I thought I heard your voice sounded really strained when I listened to you this morning with Gordon.
Yeah, you see what had happened was I had a cold and then I had a wedding and I didn't sleep at the wedding and it kind of snowballed a little bit.
I'm sorry. That's rough. It's rough to have to, particularly when you talk for a living, right?
Yeah, I feel like I sound like a man a little bit, but a sexy man at that.
There was like Phoebe from Friends where she lost her voice kind of like you did, where you can still talk, and she thought it was sexy, and she was she'd wet her hair and stick her head out the window trying to catch another cold because she liked the way her voice sounded when she had that raspy sound to it.
I love you so much for the Friends reference. I can't even tell you.
Mark can't relate to that. I don't know if Ethan can either. No, you were not a true Friends fan.
I wasn't. I watched it.
Like, do you know if I said he's her lobster? Do you get what we're saying?
No.
Oh, well, there you go. That answers the question.
Okay.
Not a
That
true
answers
Friends fan.
that.
That's like a basic
watch it over the
trivia
years.
question.
Okay.
Yes, very basic.
Sorry. I failed that one. Want to talk Star Wars?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I know nothing about Star Wars.
Anchorman?
R2-D2?
Stripes? I got all kinds of them I can bring up. So what's going on out there in the business world?
futures are mixed. Tuesday, the Dow Industrials gained 740, the Nasdaq up 461, the S&P 500 up 118. Macy's has cut its full-year profit guidance even as it beat Wall Street's quarterly earnings expectations. In a news release, the department store operator said it reduced its earnings outlook because of higher tariffs, more promotions, and some moderation in discretionary spending. Macy's, however, did stick by its full-year sales forecast. Southwest Airlines, long favored by travelers for its free checked bag policy, is ending the popular rule. The New York Times reports that starting today, most passengers will start paying $35 for their first checked bag and $45 for the second. The Mortgage Bankers Association said the average interest rate for 30-year mortgages increased to 6.98% from 6.92%. Applications to refinance a home loan fell 7% for the week. Mortgage applications to purchase a home were 2% higher last week than the previous. Krispy Kreme is offering a sweet reward to high school and graduate students for today only. The donut chain will give away a free 3-pack of original glazed donuts to any graduate who visits a Krispy Kreme shop in their graduation regalia. This includes a cap and gown, senior shirt, or jacket. And today is National Hamburger Day. At Burger King, you can get a free burger with a purchase of $1 or more. Wendy's offering a 1-cent junior bacon cheeseburger. Buffalo Wild Wings, you can get half price off any burger, but that's for today only. And finally, couples are celebrating more modern milestones called arbitrary versaries, and experts say it could be the fix some relationships need. Some examples couples are celebrating include the first time you peed with the door open or the night you first saw each other naked.
What? Who knows the date of those things?
I mean, I
guess there are certain reasons you might know the date of.
No, you don't think so? I feel like I love love.
The
so
first
I'm like,
day,
yeah.
I'm gonna call my husband this morning, and be like, hey, do you remember the first time
Oh
you
my
peed with the
gosh.
door open? What?
I mean, it's a big milestone. Just like farting in front of your partner for the first time is a big milestone. No,
You go out to a nice steakhouse and they're like,
Like, I don't know.
what are you celebrating this evening? Well, this is the anniversary of the first time we farted in front of each other.
Would you like put that in a diary or something?
Dear diary.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I mean,
farted in front
seriously.
of my husband this
Oh my
morning. It was a really big deal.
it is a big deal. It's
Do you get
super-
a card? Is there a card for happy fart anniversary? Or
Do you get extra points because like if I remember the birthdays and the wedding anniversary, I'm happy.
What
yeah,
a
that's
low
a
bar you
lot to
set.
remember.
That's a low bar.
I
That's a
remember
low
our,
bar.
If I can
our
remember the-
first date. I remember our first date, and I remember when he like asked me out, and obviously I remember when we
Remember the
got
date
engaged.
of that?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
See?
Oh, no.
See?
But I've only been married a few years.
But
You've
it's
been married
irrelevant.
a lot longer.
I've been married a lot. I've been married too long to remember any of that. I remember
Yeah.
like generally when we got engaged, but I couldn't tell you the exact date.
Ask Michelle if she wants to celebrate the first time you guys peed with the door open. See what she says. I think it's a
Yeah,
big deal.
I probably couldn't repeat on the radio what you would say to me if I said that.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
Oh,
I don't know, maybe
whatever.
that's
I
a
think
girl thing. I just don't think guys would ever remember anything like that. or have any
Whatever. I
desire
think
to.
it's romantic. There's always a reason to celebrate in girl world.
I guess Hallmark will love you for that. So go buy some flowers and a card.
Fartiversary.
Yeah, I guess. Nicole, we hope your voice continues to get better for you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Take care. We appreciate
Bye-bye.
that. Yep. Nicole Murray there. Wow. No, that was
Wow,
not on
wow
my
is
agenda
all I have to
this
say.
morning.
Wow.
That was not something that had crossed my mind.
Going back to the burger thing, did I hear a 1 cent
She did say
burger?
that. At
Is
Burger
that without
King,
a
I think.
purchase? No, Wendy's. I
Wendy's.
wrote it down. Was that without a without a purchase, or is that one of those things where it's like if you buy a meal, then
What
you get a 1
happens
cent
when they
burger?
have no more pennies?
Oh,
What's
that's
gonna?
right.
They can't do that
2020
deal
that's
anymore.
Right.
It's
Next
gonna
year.
be a nickel. See, it's causing inflation.
I didn't realize. I listened this morning on the Gordon Deal Show, which of course is what Nicole's on, and they were talking about how the first hamburger was made in the late 1800s, where these guys were. Was it like a fair or something, and they were making like pork sandwiches, and they ran out of the pork meat, so they started using ground beef, and it just kind of went from there, and it was called hamburger because it was made in Hamburg. Was it not Connecticut? Is it Connecticut? Somewhere the city was Hamburg, and
But
I guess
it was in the United States.
in
is
the
what
United,
you're saying?
I think it was the
Okay.
United States, and at that time it was
hamburgers in Germany, right?
typical that you would name the item after the city that you had made it in. So that was, I guess, how it became. No, it had nothing to do with ham. That was why they said, according to this guy, they called it the hamburger.
All right.
The more you know.
The more you know on National Hamburger Day. Go have a hamburger today. So the Wendy's deal was you have to spend at least $1 to get the free burger.
You looked it up?
Well, no, that's what she said.
I thought that was Burger King.
Was it Burger King?
I thought she said Burger King on that.
So that was Wendy's and then Burger King.
I wrote it down. Okay, hold on. Wendy's is selling cheeseburgers for 1 cent this week.
Okay.
It's not a total freebie, of course.
Okay, of course not.
Let's see here.
She wants the
details. I'm still, it's the junior bacon cheeseburger deal. Okay, see, this is what it is. There's always a catch. Wendy's is selling its junior bacon cheeseburger for 1 cent with any purchase from May 28th through June 1st. So you buy
a $5 soda and you get a free hamburger?
Yeah, but it's like, I get you can't just give away 1 cent burgers, but it always sounds better than it really is.
Get them in the door. Get them in the door and they'll buy something else.
I'll just add some fries with that. Would you like to upgrade that to an XL? Yes, please.
Just crazy. All right, coming up, we're going to get to in other news for you. Next hour, top of the hour, we'll get Attorney Bevis Schock on to discuss this ruling by the Missouri Supreme Court that effectively stops abortions in the state of Missouri. How long is that going to last? We'll get his thoughts on it about 7:08. We're back after this.
The Marc Cox Morning Show
on 97.1 FM Talk. Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident westbound 70 past Adelaide this morning. And if you're traveling in that area, it had been blocking the 2 left lanes. Now, it looks to me like they've got that at least off onto the shoulder. So things are improving in that area. But boy, did we have a jam behind it. So it's taking just a minute to thin out, but already looking better. If you are headed in from Illinois, westbound 5570 is slow, 203 through 64, and then pockets between there, and across the Poplar Street Bridge. Just a little bit of a slow go through there this morning. Now, if you're eastbound on 70 or 64 or 44, we're in good shape on the Missouri side this morning. Now, there is some volume in pockets along northbound 270 between 55 and, it looks like it's the Clayton Road overpass right now. It's not as bad as it was. And northbound 55, there's a slow go this morning in the Herculaneum area. Now, this is northbound 55 in the construction zone. So as you head toward Highway Z, there's some volume. And again, around Bayless in the work zone there. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, if you're looking at flooring right now, considering a project for this summer, you got to go to Michael's. You got to at least check out Michael's Flooring Outlet, or they'll be happy to come to you. If you go to their website, you can request an estimate right online. They'll bring samples to your house. It doesn't matter what it is you're looking for. Natural stone, tile, vinyl, hardwood, the engineered hardwood like I got in my new house. And of course, they've got area rugs as well. If that's all you're looking for is to cover up an area, say in a living room or a dining room, something like that, they've got you covered. And they carry a bunch of beautiful products from Mohawk that are stain resistant, waterproof for the flooring, which is what I had in my bathroom at my old house. And we're 4-time customers at Michael's. They do such a great job. They're so worried about customer service. They even at the top of their website, the first bar you see is need service after your purchase, contact us today. They want to make sure that people always leave satisfied. And I'm a 4-time satisfied customer of Michael's. Visit them in Old Town St. Peter's, in Darden Prairie, or in St. Louis County, in West County off of Olive, just west of 270. Online anytime at igotfloor.com.
Cardinals fans, there are more ways this season to watch your Cardinals on FanDuel Sports Network. For the first time, you can subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network and stream the Cardinals without blackouts. Monthly, seasonal, and annual packages available. Also new this season, you can stream FanDuel Sports Network through Amazon Prime Video with an add-on subscription. As always, you can watch FanDuel Sports Network through TV providers including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. Visit Cardinals.com/TV to learn more.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. We call them the Doctors because they've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any other practice in St. Louis. So if you're looking for the best doctors for your best vision, it's Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. Doctors Birdie and Malhotra are cornea surgeons and experts in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. I had an eye disease when I was younger. It left me with a silicone buckle around my right eye, so I put my trust in Ophthalmology Associates to take care of my annual checkups. Maybe you're experiencing dry eye, allergy eyes. They can help. They can help with cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, and LASIK surgeries. And if you're looking for the best eye care, it's Ophthalmology Associates. Make an appointment today by calling 314-966-5000 or online at yourEyeDoc.com. They have a great office location just west of 270 on Manchester Road. Again, the phone number, 314-966-5000. The website, yourEyeDoc.com. Ophthalmology Associates.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
The Annie Fry Show.
They're all hypocrites, and you need someone to come out and insult the idea of wokeism. You need someone like Donald Trump to call it crap, because crap is what it is.
The Annie Fry Show, weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.1 FM Talk. Winner of the prestigious Marc Cox Morning Show Award every year. The Marc Cox Morning Show.
What's happening?
Go, you know the thing.
What the hell is going on?
In other news.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the changes to Southwest Airlines bag policy, where you're going to have to start paying for your checked bags, that goes into effect today. But there's also some changes coming to United Airlines that you might not like. Beginning June 3rd, all domestic flyers will have to arrive at least 45 minutes early for their flight, even if they aren't checking bags. It's part of the airline's new check-in policy. Used to be 30 minutes, so now you have to be there 45 minutes early. Now, 45 minutes isn't that much time, but I know people who really, really like to be able to cut it close, especially if something comes up and you're just truly not able to make it there any earlier.
So what happens? What are they going to not let you get on the flight?
Yeah, it sounds like they really would do that.
They're going to get sued.
It says they will be enforcing the strict cutoff.
Does this have anything to do with that TikTok trend?
Oh, people trying to cut
where
it
they
close
were
to
trying
see
to
if
get
they
as
can
close as
actually
they
make
could.
it.
I wonder if that's what it is.
It says that the changes will increase efficiency and help streamline their process, as well as help agents assist others who need their help.
It's for check-in.
Yes.
Which means if you're on a connecting flight and it gets in 20 minutes before your next flight leaves, it wouldn't affect that. Right?
I don't think that.
You're already checked into the system.
I don't think that would
good.
be impacted.
All right.
So anyway, there's another crazy story just staying on the airline beat. There was a Delta flight where there's a really crazy video. The flight's midair, and all of a sudden a pigeon starts flying on the ceiling of the plane, and people are understandably freaking out. Some guy's up there with a jacket trying to capture a pigeon. Sounds like there were actually two pigeons, but anyway, they're flying around this plane. People are screaming. The guy's trying to catch it. And the pilot comes on at one point and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a wildlife situation on the plane."
So the birds got in and they'd been resting up above the luggage compartment area.
Yeah, and it wasn't until one of the baggage handlers picked up the bags that the pigeons just started flying everywhere. But the plane hadn't taken off yet. I thought that for some reason it had. I guess it was saying that it had led to a delay. I don't know. I mean, you see these videos and it's kind of I don't know. Either
crazy.
Way, I do not like birds.
But me neither.
So I would be flipping out.
Not quite as crazy as this. And this doesn't surprise me one iota. Gen Z is signing up for Adulting 101 classes because they can't handle basic life skills. Sue.
Well, who has created these people?
Well, this is a really good question.
You know what I'm saying?
Gen Z is flocking to Adulting 101 crash courses, desperate to learn what previous generations might call common sense. how to do laundry, budgeting, or navigating a grocery store without having to Google what is a turnip.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I have Googled some of the stuff like that. Not what is a turnip, not that,
Okay.
but
No,
you know,
like how
where
to
to
change a
find
tire.
stuff.
Okay, but wouldn't your parents have taught you
Wouldn't
how
you
to do laundry
You would think.
Wouldn't you
and
hope?
budget?
And I'm not going to out this kid, but one of my son's friends admitted to us when they were in college that he had never done laundry. His mom had done it for him his entire life. So he didn't know how to do it. So that, this all falls back on the parents.
Yes.
It really does. Like I told my teenage daughter the other day, I've got to go mow grass. Come out here and I'll show you how to start the lawnmower.
Yes.
Dad, girls don't mow grass. And I'm like,
Yeah,
well, they don't mow
do.
grass
I
in
did.
this household, but in a
Yes.
lot of other households, they do.
Yeah, my dad said, you're going to know how to do everything.
These are
Right.
life skills.
You're cutting the backyard.
right.
Your brother's cutting the front.
Thank you.
Alternate every week, and nobody goes anywhere on Saturday until it's done.
I love that. I love that.
The problem is when it comes to budgeting or cooking or things like that we would consider basic skills, a lot of parents don't even know how to do it as adults, so then they can't even teach their kids.
Yeah.
They
Well,
have
how can
taken
they
home
not-
ec out, so some people
Oh,
don't know how to do it.
Well, that's true. But how can they not know how to cook or do laundry?
Well, they
I
just
mean,
do
they're-
the microwavable meals, I guess.
Oh, I see.
They make
Good
it too easy. Or
grief.
fast food nowadays. I mean, think about, you hear these stories about people who go 4+ times a week to get fast food. I'm thinking, how do you even afford that? I mean,
Right.
obviously
Serious.
it's terrible
It's
for your
crazy.
health, but that's, I mean, a simple fast food meal now is what, $10 easily?
More
Where
than
are you
that.
going?
Where are you going? 15 or 20? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
20.
nuts.
What are you getting
Like if
if
I
you're
take
ordering
my wife
20?
and my grandkids to Chick-fil-A, it's $40.
Okay,
Oh,
if you're
easy.
getting it for a
Oh, yeah.
family, yes. I'm talking about just
one kid's meal and
person.
a salad and a chicken sandwich shouldn't be $40. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, quickly here, and this was sad news. Mary Lou Retton, who had all those bad health
Yeah.
issues a year ago, just got arrested for DUI in West Virginia.
Ugh.
Apparently,
God.
Dude.
charged with one count of driving under the influence of either alcohol or drugs. They're not quite sure yet. She's been released on a $1,500 bond.
Phenomenal gymnast in
I
her
know.
heyday.
Hate to see that. Hate to see it. All right, coming up, we'll talk to Bevis Schock about that Supreme Court ruling on abortion.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ziprecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free.
Have you been notified that your subsidy for Obamacare health insurance is going away? Well, you can leave now while you are still healthy and can qualify for much better individual plans. Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com has been helping people get affordable health insurance with great coverage for over 35 years. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA marketplace. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible, and they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan by you, not the government.
Start your summer with a weekend showdown. Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers roll into Busch Stadium June 6th through the 8th. Be there Friday for a cool new promo, the first ever Cardinals neck fan. Perfect for hot game days. Then on Sunday, young fans 15 and under take home a Rawlings Kids glove. It's a weekend of big matchups and big giveaways. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Mason Wynn, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Catch a Cardinals game on your next date night or friends night out. Whether it's love in the stands or laughter with your crew, nothing beats ballpark vibes under the lights. Cold drinks, great eats, and Cardinals baseball. Check out Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium and enjoy happy hour price food and drinks all game long. Every Friday home game. Get your tickets today at Cardinals.com and make memories that go beyond the scoreboard. Busch Stadium, where great nights begin.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
A Russian reaction to a Trump criticism. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Days after the president called Russian leader Vladimir Putin absolutely crazy and he's playing with fire as the war in Ukraine rages.
Putin's lackey, Dmitry Medvedev, who served as the bridge between Putin's presidential terms, has posted an implicit threat as President Trump is weighing these harsh sanctions on Russia. Medvedev writes, regarding Trump's words about Putin playing with fire and really bad things happening to Russia, I only know of one really bad thing, World War III. I hope Trump understands this. It comes after President Trump expressed frustration that Putin's continuing to stall peace talks while bombarding Ukraine.
That's Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Germany for talks with the new chancellor, who's a big supporter of helping Ukraine battle Russia. In Gaza, chaos at a new food and distribution center. One Palestinian was killed, nearly 50 injured.
Crowds overwhelmed the position, which is being run by an Israeli and US-backed foundation. Eyewitnesses report hearing Israeli tank and gunfire and seeing a military helicopter firing flares. Humanitarian groups say people in Gaza are desperate for food after a near 3-month Israeli blockade.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. In a further attempt to crack down on pro-Palestinian protests that the Trump administration says allows anti-Semitism to flourish on college campuses. New interviews with foreign students who want to get a visa to come study here are on hold as they ramp up social media vetting. State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce just told Fox.
Every sovereign nation has a right to make sure that they know who's in their nation and if they are safe to be here, and for the people who want to come to understand that there are expectations when you get here so that we don't have to take your visa and remove you.
This says the Trump administration and Harvard spar in court over attempts to block the university from enrolling new international students and freezing federal grants. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. 7:03 the time right now, 55 degrees downtown at the Arch. Missouri's abortion ban is back, at least for now. This comes after the state Supreme Court ruled Tuesday a circuit court judge applied the wrong standards and ruling on safety requirements for abortion providers. The Supreme Court says the Jackson County judge needs to use a different standard and reevaluate the case. Governor Mike Kehoe has called a special session to discuss funding for the Chiefs and Royals stadiums, as well as relief for tornado victims. Lawmakers will also have a chance to pass capital spending projects that didn't pass during the regular session. The special session begins Monday. We're chatting with Senator Adam Schnelting about that special session coming up at 7:35. A Berkeley man is demanding the owner of a pit bull be held accountable after the dog bit him. Brandon Jameson says he was at a friend's house earlier this month when the dog bit him in the face, required him to have surgery. Jameson filed a report with Berkeley police. Now, we do know there is a pit bull ban in Berkeley. Police don't know where the dog's owner is, but if he's found, he could face a fine or possibly even jail time. 7:04, 55 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk. In sports, the Cardinals beat the Orioles 7-4 yesterday. They'll be wrapping up that series this evening at 5:35. The big news here with local sports, though, is St. Louis City's head coach Olaf Melberg is out. The team announced his firing Tuesday after a, rough start to the season, you could call it. Just 2 wins in the first 15 matches. City's next match coming up on Saturday. 55 degrees now, coming up on 7:05. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got an accident now on northbound 270 just past the 55 split, and it looks like it's blocking the left lane. So if you are traveling in that area, that's the cause of the delay. Looks like emergency crews are on the scene, and now they've got the 2 left lanes blocked. So that's created a jam. Now, south of there, 55 has been a slow go in the Herculaneum area this morning, just in the construction zone there, then slowing again at Bayless. But eastbound 70 and 6440 both look good at this hour. No delays on 44. On the Illinois side, we're a little bit busy at the 55-70-64 split, but then things open up and actually look pretty good across the Poplar Street Bridge itself. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Not much going on with our weather today. Partly sunny skies. Pretty nice temperatures for this time of year, 76. Just a tiny chance of a sprinkle. Tonight, partly cloudy, 55. Evening temperatures dropping through the 70s. Not bad at all. Thursday, another weak system coming by. Partly to mostly cloudy. Some scattered showers, 74. Scattered showers Thursday night. But Friday is sunny at 75. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
7:06, 55 degrees right now. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show on 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere by downloading the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
the Marc Cox Morning Show.
I respect that. We don't agree. Listen to both sides.
This,
let's get it on,
is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Voted yes to Amendment 3 back in November to allow abortions again in Missouri. But tonight, after a state Supreme Court ruling, the procedures are halted.
Today's ruling comes in response to a circuit judge blocking abortion restrictions.
Yeah, Channel 4's coverage yesterday, the breaking news that the Missouri Supreme Court has basically put back in it's effectively a ban on abortion while they allow a lower court to figure out what's going on with this law, which was known as Amendment 3 when it was on the ballot. I have asked my friend Bevis Schock from shocklaw.com to join us this morning with some reaction to all this, maybe explain exactly what they did there. Bevis, good morning.
Good morning, Mark, and I am ready to go, having studied this for the last hour.
Glad to hear it. It was a pretty short writ on the part of the Supreme Court, right?
Yeah, so you want me to give you a quick narrative of what the story is?
Please do.
All right. So everybody knows the background. The Missouri had a very, very strong ban on abortion. Then in November election, there was an amendment to the Constitution eviscerating the ban on abortion. And then the governor and the attorney general filed suit over in Kansas City and said, no, that shouldn't apply, and that's not right. It had a lot of reasons, including that there was no more licensing and there was no protection of because the instruments didn't have to be sterile and things like that. And Judge Zong, the Honorable Judge Zong, heard all that, and then on December 20th issued an order that basically said, hey, and by the way, the initial suit was by the Planned Parenthood abortion providers saying, now that the new amendment has passed, then the old restrictions on abortion are gone. Okay. So I'm sorry, I should have said that earlier. Now, so the judge had a look at all that and said, well, I think this amendment is pretty strong. Missourians want to allow abortions, so I'm going to eliminate the restrictions on abortions. And that was in December. Now, the Supreme Court yesterday said, whoopsie, you made a mistake. And it's in order to get an order from a judge, for a judge to issue an order that says, hey, we're going to make it so a statute is invalid. The statute here being all the ones that said no abortion. The amendment says yes abortion. So there are 4 factors. Now, I'm going to tell you what they are. They're whether the person who wants to stop the laws is going to be harmed if it's not stopped, what happens to other people, who's likely to prevail, and what happens to the public. Now, is this too complicated so far? Or are you with me?
Well, no, I am with you. I'm just so basically the rules that they have overturned here and put back in place. A lot of these were just safety issues. They didn't prevent abortion. They just dealt with making sure that somebody who was at risk of sepsis could get medical care if need be. Right.
Right. Now, here's what happened. The judge in Kansas City used what's called a standard. Now, in the law, when a judge is going to do something, he's supposed to look at what the standard is and then judge the facts against the standard. That kind of makes sense, right?
Sure.
So he said, under an older version of the thing, possibility of success on the merits. He was supposed to say, like a likelihood of success on the merits. So we've changed one word, possibility to likelihood. Now, I think what the outcome of all that is going to be is that parts of the statutes protecting abortion rights, which were overturned by the amendment, will end up being in place. Things like sterilization of instruments. So yeah, that's kind of basic.
Seems
right?
like should be anyway. Yeah,
that's pretty obvious. So Judge Zong got slapped down, and this is part of the process. I mean, we're all going to respect the opinions of the judges. We have to do that. There's nothing else to do in life but accept judges' orders, or we'll have no free society. But the Supreme Court said, Judge Zong, let's have a do-over here. Now, I think what's going to happen is that a lot of the laws that allow abortion, that prohibit abortion, will be dumped. And we're going to have abortion in Missouri because it passed 51-48. That's what happened. Until now we're going to have another vote in a year and a half. So sit tight on that one.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's all about the fine points of the language on what the voter sees when they get in the booth. But anyway, that's called the ballot title.
I was just going to say, so does this require that Jackson County judge to just rewrite his or her ruling?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so
absolutely.
is that a simple, like, put this in context in perspective for us? Is that a simple fix, I guess is the word that comes to mind? Like, could we see this pause on abortion for weeks, or could we see it, like, could this judge get it done in a day?
Well, it's going to take more than a day. So the judge's opinion is about 25 pages long, and only about 2 or 3 pages of it are under attack here by the Missouri Supreme Court. So what the judge will do, first of all, they never like to rule in a day because that implies they haven't thought about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't want that. But they're going to take a little time. And I would estimate a week to 2 weeks. Judge will say, oh, gosh, I meant to get that right. I'm so sorry. My law clerk screwed it up. They'll blame it on somebody else. See, one of the things that goes on is different levels of judges have different people who work for them to look up the law. And the judge is responsible ultimately for whether it's right or wrong. But these clerks, they're called clerks. I mean, the Supreme Court of the United States has lost students 1 or 2 years out of law school looking up the law all day. This has always struck me as insane because they're young and stupid, have no life experience, and don't know the context of anything. Anyway, Judge Schock probably had a law clerk do this, and right now she is taking a baseball bat to that knucklehead.
Because it got slapped down by the Supreme Court. All right. Well, that gives us some.
It was a smackdown. I mean, it was just boom.
Well, I appreciate the background, my friend. That kind of lets us know that this, whatever it is going to be probably remedied fairly quickly. It looks like so.
Well, I think yes. I think we're going to have abortions in Missouri. I mean, until the vote in another year and a half. That's what the outcome's going to be. But it's going to be some of the safety provisions and licensing provisions will be reviewed by Judge Zhang, and that'll stay. I mean, the lower court judge is supposed to get into the fine points. The Supreme Court just looks at the big stuff.
So is there no requirement for them to make sure that these facilities that are providing abortions are actually complying with these? That has nothing to do with this. Like, once these are enforced about sterilizing equipment and offering ultrasounds, there's no like, hey, we have to make sure you're actually doing this.
Well, there's something called the Board of Healing Arts, which is some state agency that's responsible for issuing licenses. I'm sure they have inspectors that go around and check on stuff like that. I mean, that's their job.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I think it's reasonable to expect that part will be done properly.
Bevis, we appreciate your time, my friend. Thank you.
Okay, always fun to talk to you guys.
Yep.
And can you give me an easier assignment next time, Mark?
I will do it, so you don't have to spend an hour studying it.
All right.
I
hope I explained it clearly. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bevis Schock there. Bevis Schock at shocklaw.com. Good to get his take on it. So he thinks maybe some law clerk might have screwed up there. Won't take him long to fix it. In other words,
it was a couple weeks, maybe. He said the respectable thing to do would be to take responsibility yourself, because I understand it may have been some goofy law clerk who overlooked something, but ultimately it's the judge who signs off on it. So I'm sorry, I can't stand when people are just so quick to want to throw everybody else under the bus. Like, take some responsibility.
Yep.
You are the judge. You were supposed to make sure that this had. And now I'm thankful that they screwed up, because that means at least there's a temporary pause on abortion.
It sheds some light on some of what's gone on behind the scenes, for sure. Coming up, we'll get to our friend Genevieve Wood from Heritage. At the bottom of the hour, Missouri State Senator Adam Schnelting. I asked him to come on and kind of give us an idea where he stands on this stadium funding issue for the special session, which starts on Monday of next week. We'll get to all that for you coming up a little later this hour.
The Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident northbound 270 past 55, and they've got the left lane blocked, and traffic is jammed back onto northbound 55. Northbound 55, by the way, a little bit of moderate volume in the construction zone headed for Highway Z this morning, slowing again around Bayless in the construction to the north of 270. Now, those are the major issues. Eastbound 70 looks great. 64, just a little moderate volume east of 94, headed into downtown. And on the Illinois side, it's pretty quiet as well. Just some moderate volume at the 64 split with 70, and a little bit every now and then across the Poplar Street Bridge. It's just not too bad. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. Have you thought lately about what all you've saved for retirement? Because here's the deal. Most of us save because we know we're supposed to do that. But then when you get closer, you think, wait, Do I have a specific plan? How do I know that this is going to carry me through retirement? Do I even really know how the system works? This is why I like the idea of this class. It's only one night, but it's a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. And you can learn at least a little bit about this stuff, how to reduce taxes, how to maximize your Social Security, and then you can feel a little bit better about what's happening. It's taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects, and they do that at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. There are some openings, but you have to register. So call 314-947-2012, 314-947-2012.
It's not too late for a deep spring cleaning on your home. Give my friends at Zero Res a call today. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning package. Visit ZeroResSL.com and tell me what the Marc Reardon special, or call 314-474-2020.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Upgrade your family vacation with an unforgettable escape to the Palm Beaches. From outdoor adventures and laid-back beaches to thrilling family attractions and animal encounters, the Palm Beaches have something for everyone. Discover premier resorts with creative kids clubs that will keep the little ones entertained while you enjoy world-class golf and spas. We are the original, the one, the only, the Palm Beaches. Plan your trip at thepalmbeaches.com.
Are you experiencing frequent or sudden urges to urinate, waking up to use the bathroom multiple times a night, or a weak or slow urinary stream? If previous medication hasn't provided relief, the doctors at South County Urological can help. Call 314-843-8000 or visit southcountyurological.com.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
You're up. We're up. The Marc Cox Morning Show. Follow the show on Facebook. Facebook.com/The Marc Cox Show.
When a man loves a woman, can't keep his mind on nothing else. He changed the world for the good thing he found. If she is bad, he can see it. She can do no wrong. Turning back on his best friend if he put her down.
The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
All right, Genevieve Wood with us. Genevieve, good morning to you. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Good to be with you.
Absolutely. So this issue of birthright citizenship has popped up again, and you know, it seems like a no-brainer to me. I think Donald Trump wins this in the long term, but in the meantime, what are we looking at here?
Well, I mean, what we're looking at is something that the Supreme Court probably should have looked at some time ago. This has been an ongoing debate. And you know what's amazing, Marc? It's like people don't realize that we're one of the few countries in the world that allows this kind of thing. That says if you just come across the border and have a child here, all of a sudden your baby's an American citizen. Very few countries around the world that often you hear the less saying we should be more like them do that. Europe, you name it. But that's what we've been doing. But look, the reality is, I mean, it's just there's so many discrepancies here. I mean, if you look at the 14th Amendment, you look at why it was created, it was not created for this particular purpose. We don't allow diplomats who are here who have children in this country, their children don't become U.S. citizens. Why is that? They're actually here legally. It's because they're loyal to another country. And the same thing with people crossing the border. You don't automatically get citizenship. So this is a debate we've long been having. It's about time the Supreme Court finally makes a ruling on it. And I agree with you. If they follow the Constitution, the original intent of the 14th Amendment and other provisions, I think you're going to see a victory for the Trump administration and a victory for this isn't about Trump, a victory for the American people.
Yes.
I mean, this when we talked about borders, it is people coming across and not having control of that has been reined in, but it's also having laws that allow people to subvert the will of our laws, which is what this has been.
Genevieve, I was really happy to see that the Daily Signal is also reporting on that Senate investigative report that revealed that the Biden administration intentionally hid data from the public that clearly showed that the COVID vaccine was associated with at least some serious health risk that resulted in deaths, because we know for so long they weren't. And now with RFK, I mean, so much has come out. And then just, what was it, yesterday or the day before? I guess yesterday they talked about how the COVID vaccine will no longer be recommended for pregnant women or healthy children.
Yeah, that's right. Well, look, I mean, we've lived in a world of 5 years now or 4 to 5 since the vaccines come out, where if you question at all that maybe something wasn't right or that maybe some people were harmed by the vaccine, you were a conspiracy theorist, you were a nut, you were not a patriot, you were an anti-science person. But everybody knew the numbers just seemed a little higher with this than others.
Yes.
And the fact that the administration and the government did very little to even acknowledge it, just like you can't see that. When other countries, France, Israel, were all coming out with studies fairly early on saying there's a cardiovascular risk, especially for young men. And that's what we were seeing. And so, look, we all know that vaccines, the vast majority of them do vast more good than they do harm, but you have to admit where there are problems. And they basically turned a blind eye to it. It's wonderful that I think what we're seeing is happening in these investigations. We're finally going to have transparency. And look, this is what we need. We don't want a public who thinks every vaccine is bad or is scared every time something comes out. I don't know if I should take that. We need to be able to have faith in the science, so to speak. We need to have faith in our officials that are being upfront with this. And that was clearly not happening under the Biden administration with COVID.
Well, we had Josh Hawley on the show last week, and we asked him about this mifepristone issue and this abortion pill. And now we see where RFK is also basically saying that he's going to review the safety and efficacy of that, because you're turning women loose to take something that it causes known, possibly life-threatening side effects with very little warning.
And again, Mark, transparency.
Yes.
And again, why is the government? What we know is the government, they quote unquote studied this. They did very small studies, very small samples, which the reason that RFK is looking at now is because you've had other groups come out that did large studies. And when you did the large studies, which includes a lot more people, so you have a lot more results, they found it was almost 1 in 10 women who used this drug had a complication, some extremely serious. And this was from insurance data, right? So these are people who filed claims. You had claims at hospitals. This was not just made up numbers kind of stuff. This was hard evidence. And again, why wasn't the government doing that kind of research? If they care about women so much, why were they using such small study samples to then say, oh, no, nothing, this is never a problem? When if you look at a larger population of women using this drug, it is a problem for a lot of women. And again, it's a drug that's often taken with no doctor supervision. It's taken at home. You get the pill through the mail. You don't even have to go in for a doctor's visit. I mean, we don't allow that for so many things. And yet for something as serious as this, and that's again, what the left is pushing since Roe is pushing this pill so that women, wherever they are, can get the pills and not have to go in and seek medical advice.
Yep, and the Biden administration allowed that to happen for sure.
They did.
Genevieve, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we'll talk next week. Genevieve Wood, their senior advisor at the Heritage Foundation. DailySignal.com is where you can find a lot of those stories that we just talked about there. All right, coming up, what would you estimate the impact was when the Rams were in St. Louis and they were winning Super Bowls and all of that? You'll be a little stunned at how small of an economic impact an NFL team, a baseball team actually has on the local economy. We're going to talk about it next with Senator Adam Schnelting. Stay tuned.
Summer savings are heating up at Ruler Foods from May 28th through June 10th. Stock up and save big. Red and white seedless grapes just $1.69 a pound. Kroger 73% lean ground beef only $3.33 a pound, sold in a 3-pound roll. Sweet 2-pound packs of delicious strawberries just $3.49 each. And don't miss our mix and match hot deals, 2 for $5. Choose from Kroger 24-pack water, Kroger frozen potatoes, 19 to 32 ounces, or 12-count Kroger coffee pods. Ruler Foods. Shop smart, spend less. Offers valid through June 10th.
All right, just looking at a video sent to me by my friend Matt Hayes over at Home Shield Foundation Repairs. It was of a listener whose house he got called out to, because when you call Home Shield, it's the owner, Matt, who comes to your house, not some salesperson. Anyway, this listener had a front porch and a sidewalk in front of it that had really started sinking down to the point that, you step off that and don't expect it, you break an ankle or something. That is not safe. What Matt is able to do is go in and use his polyjacking to lift this entire solid set of steps up so that they don't have that problem anymore. He can do this for you. He can do it on sidewalks. He can do it on driveways. If you've got a low area where the soil has kind of eroded because of all of this rain we've gotten, they can fix that. They're foundation specialists at Home Shield Foundation Repairs. Go online and check them out today. It's homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. We're at 7:30 right now, 55 degrees. Two big stories out of Missouri. A temporary halt on abortion after the state Supreme Court ruled a circuit judge applied the wrong standards for providers when it comes to safety requirements. And the governor called a special session to discuss funding for the Chiefs and Royals stadiums, as well as relief for tornado victims. We'll be chatting with Senator Adam Schnelting about what to expect from that special session in just a few minutes at about 7:35. A St. Charles man is now facing murder charges. He's accused of shooting and killing a man in Washington Park, Illinois. Illinois State Police say 27-year-old Donovan Davis shot 26-year-old Marc Morris back on May 12th. That happening in the 2200 block of Kings Highway. No word on what led up to the shooting. In sports, Cards beat the Orioles 7-4 yesterday, wrapping up the series this evening at 5:35. Big news, St. Louis City's head coach Olaf Melberg is out. Team announces firing Tuesday after a rough start to the season. Just 2 wins in the first 15 matches. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. Well, I'll tell you what, along northbound 270, so just past 55, there's an accident this morning, and it's still blocking the left lane. This, of course, has created a jam that goes back onto northbound 55 itself. Now, 55 is a slow go in the construction zone north of Revis Barracks, and it looks better once you get just past Carondelet. Now, northbound 270, moderate volume from Doherty Ferry up through Ladue Road. Southbound a little slow at Ladue Road as well. But eastbound 70 looks really good from out west into downtown. There's a little bit of a slowdown at 141, and that's it. 64, a little off the pace there at Timberlake Manor and at the Innerbelt. And on the Illinois side, it's busy, 55, 70, 64 right there at their split, and some moderate volume across the bridge itself. I do need to mention that IDOT has announced it's going to close the main line lanes of eastbound 5564 from the Poplar Street Bridge to Broadway in East St. Louis today. It's going to be today through Friday for emergency bridge deck repairs, and they've had to do that quite a bit this season. This report brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they've been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out. From windows and siding to kitchens, bathrooms, and outdoor spaces, they deliver quality craftsmanship backed by lifetime warranties. Visit lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right. Who's your dentist? When's the last time you've been to the dentist? So those uncomfortable questions for you. First of all, a lot of people don't have a dentist that they see regularly. You should change that. There are some serious health consequences to not getting your teeth cleaned regularly. Number one, you can lose them. Number two, you might have a cracked tooth and you're just dreading going in. I want to recommend my dentist, Dr. Michael White. You're going to love working with Dr. Michael White. Honestly, he's empathy is par none. He wants to make sure that the reason you're not avoiding dental care or you're avoiding dental care is not because of the pain, you're worried about pain or cost or whatever the case may be. He works tirelessly to make sure that what he's doing is as pain-free as possible. And he also never wants, cost to be a reason for you not to take care of your dental issues. So reach out to him. Tell him you heard Marc Cox talking about him. Get in there and get your teeth taken care of. Get them clean like you're supposed to. If you got any issues going on, Dr. Michael White is the man to take care of it. It's the Sunset Hills Dentist Office, 314-270-8552, 314-270-8552, sunsethills.dentist.
The Cards, the Orioles.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 5:35.
Play ball.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
The home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cardinals fans, there are more ways this season to watch your Cardinals on FanDuel Sports Network. For the first time, you can subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network and stream the Cardinals without blackouts. Monthly, seasonal, and annual packages available. Also new this season, you can stream FanDuel Sports Network through Amazon Prime Video with an add-on subscription. As always, you can watch FanDuel Sports Network through TV providers including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. Visit Cardinals.com/TV to learn more.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
A lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, this is my last hope. The next step is getting them in the right arch supports. Our goal is to have that long-term change for them, to see someone that is in pain. I change things for them. See how we can help you with a free fitting at the Good Feet store.
More ideas, less taxes. The Marc Cox Morning Show. Follow the show on Facebook, facebook.com/The Marc Cox Show.
Maybe we would I wouldn't, but maybe some of you would feel differently about this stadium funding bill if it involved the St. Louis Cardinals or the city soccer team. But right now we're talking about the Kansas City Royals and the Kansas City Chiefs, who have threatened that they're either going to get a new stadium in the case of the Royals and an upgrade in the case of the Chiefs, or they might consider moving to Kansas. So they'd still be a Kansas City team, just Kansas City, Kansas. And the governor has called a special session, starts next Monday, to consider just that. We're lucky enough to have Senator Adam Schnelting on the phone with us from District 23. And Senator, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mark. Thank you for having me.
So you get a brief reprieve by a week or two from Jeff City, and now you got to go back down there on Monday. How are you feeling about this issue?
Well, listen, I have never been one for corporate welfare, and I really haven't changed my position. I think that we have too many Missourians that are seeking tax relief, and they need tax relief, and so I'm not a big fan of the stadium funding proposal, but nonetheless, we're being called by the governor to come back into special session, so we're going to address it. But I'm going to be looking for solutions for ordinary Missourians as opposed to sports teams when I get there.
So what you're saying is you're not a hard no, but I mean the governor's going to have to make a pretty compelling argument to get you to support something like this.
Well, so where I'm at on it is I would be a no for sure.
Okay.
But I've made my position clear from the very beginning that I'm no on corporate welfare.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the deal. Unless we could get out of this deal really substantive tax cuts and tax relief for ordinary Missourians, I just can't get there. I can't support it. Missourians need relief. And look, Mark, I don't question the integrity or the good intentions of those pushing to ensure that we keep the Chiefs or the Royals. I simply question the proposition that when Missourians are being taxed out of buying new cars due to higher assessments, when they're being taxed out of their homes due to higher assessments, and in some cases actually losing their homes because taxes have gone up so much, I question the sanity of putting forth a proposal like this for sports teams.
I would be a no too. I would just say, well, go ahead and go to Kansas. But certainly there will be people who will say, well, that could have huge implications. I mean, what am I missing here? Aside from obviously saying, well, they're located in Missouri, what other benefit would you think that the other side will make as far as why they need to remain in Missouri?
Well, I mean, it's a good question, Kim. I mean, the bottom line, though, if they did end up moving to Kansas, which I don't believe that they're going to, but if they did, you're still looking at, they're just on the other side of the line. We're still looking at jobs for Missourians. You're still looking at an economic boon for that area. So no matter how you slice it, it's not like they're up and leaving the region completely. Right.
Going to California or something.
Exactly. But again, even in that instance, I really don't think that they're leaving. We have to ask ourselves the question: how many businesses or how many corporations can leverage the legislature or the people's representatives every time they want to go ahead and have more favorable terms?
Well,
so where does this end? Is it going to be, no offense to these great, wonderful companies, I love them, but would it be Boeing next? Would it be GM? What other large companies would we then begin to kowtow to when they just say, hey, we're going to leave unless you give us X, Y, Z?
Yeah.
So we just need to protect ordinary Missourians and provide tax relief. And that's what I'm going for.
Senator Adam Schnelting, our guest. I agree with you completely. So Jeremy Cady, who for a long time is with Americans for Prosperity. I don't know if he's still with that group or not, but he does have his own website now, jeremycady.com. And I'm reading an article he put up, and he goes, in 2023, the Kansas City Royals generated $302 million in revenue. The Chiefs brought in $591 million in revenue. Together, the two franchises represented just 0.48% of the Kansas City Metro's $185 billion GDP.
Wow.
So in other words, where's the payback? Like if you invest all those public dollars in there, the argument would be, well, it's for the good of the community and the jobs and all that. That's a pretty small percentage. And he looked at the Rams in St. Louis. He looked at the Chargers, the Raiders, and the kind of money they return to their local communities, and it was all less than 1%.
Yeah, those numbers really put it into perspective, don't they? And we can't. And I'm glad you mentioned the Rams, Mark. We can't forget, and I think a lot of folks in the St. Louis region have not forgotten, what we did with the Rams, and then they up and left anyway. So I think it's really important. You've got a few folks that are on the Kansas City side, and they're doing the best that they can for their districts. A few senators, right? They're doing the best for their districts. But the reality is, Missouri's a big place. There are a lot of Missourians. There are a lot of Missourians who will not even benefit from the stadium funding. Look, when you're giving away hundreds of millions of dollars to the owners of sports teams, and many of your constituents can't even afford the tickets or the hot dogs, $15 hot dogs.
Right.
I'm sorry. It's tone deaf. Missourians need tax relief. And unless we were able to get some sort of really big tax relief package out of the deal, I'm a hard no. I can't support the proposal.
The governor also mentioned how funding relief in general for tornado victims will be discussed during the special session that starts Monday. Is there anything else, any other issues that you would like to be brought up during this special session?
Oh, absolutely. Look, Missourians need tax relief from personal property taxes. They need tax relief from income taxes and real estate taxes. I did the math the other day. If I bought my home at age 18 and continued paying the current amount of real estate taxes that I pay until I retire at age 65, you know how much I would have lost out on if I had just invested that money in the market? $4.7 million.
Wow.
So that's the opportunity cost when I, instead of being able to invest the amount of money that I pay in real estate taxes, instead of investing that in the market, by the time I retire, I'd be $5 million richer. That's the opportunity cost of high taxes. And that's just with real estate taxes. That doesn't include what we pay in income taxes, state and federal, of course, and then the personal property tax and sales tax and so on. Look, we're taxed to death. And Missourians need some tax relief. So that's what I'm going to really be focusing and honing in on when we get to Jefferson City next week.
Good. So I mean, you are allowed to delve into those, even though the special session is specifically called for the stadium funding issue, right?
Yeah. Great question. So it is called for the stadium funding issue, but the governor can update the call. Okay. He can update the call. You know, when he begins to see, okay, look, this is not going to pass unless we have a deal on
something
tax relief.
else. Yeah.
Exactly. That's right.
Good. Senator Adam Schnelting, thank you for that explanation. And I wholeheartedly support your stance on this. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me, Marc.
Yep. We'll talk to you again soon. Senator Adam Schnelting from District 23 there. Yeah, I root for the Chiefs if they're playing in the Super Bowl. I've never rooted for the Royals. I'd probably have to admit, but I just don't think taxpayers have any business. These people are multimillionaires who own these sports teams. Pay for your own stadium. If you want to upgrade it, upgrade it.
Well, that's what's really the information that you shared about Jeremy and how they're making all this money, but it's really not contributing much to the GDP of the Kansas City metropolitan area. Wow. I mean, you would expect that would be the argument, I would think, from the other side saying, well, obviously look at the jobs, but
hotels, rentals,
but you really can't make that argument because, and that was kind of why I asked Senator Schnelting this, was like he said, it's not like they're going, to the West Coast or the East Coast. They're moving right across the border to Kansas. If they even moved, I don't think they're going to. I agree with him. People can just, and maybe it adds 15 minutes to your commute, but they're still employing Missourians. It's not, I don't think it would have a huge impact. Now, Taylor Swift fans might be upset because they're going to say that their guy Travis Kelce or whatever is now in Kansas.
Yeah.
And guess what? I care
nobody needs to go
0% about that.
Nobody needs to go to Kansas. I'm just poking my Kansas friends out there.
Except Dorothy. She needs to go. That's about it, though.
Coming up, what are we talking about at Kim on a Whim?
Oh, this lovely video that's going all around social media about these two on-duty Secret Service agents who were supposed to be, I guess, protecting Obama's home in Washington, D.C., caught on camera fighting, and we have the audio from it.
All right, back in just a minute.
The Marc Cox Morning Show
on 97.1 FM Talk. Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Crews are still on the scene this morning of an accident on northbound 270 south of 21, north of 55, and they still have that left lane blocked. Traffic still jammed back onto 55. Then northbound 55, a slow go north of Bevis Barracks on up through the construction zone. It looks better before you get to Loughborough. Northbound 270, moderate volume, especially between 44 and Manchester. We've got eastbound 70 in great shape this morning. Wentzville into downtown 64, a little bit slow at Timberlake Manor, and some moderate volume Lindbergh through Big Bend. Westbound is starting to stack up, but again, just moderate volume approaching Hampton out through McCausland. Slow pockets on the Illinois side. Westbound 55-64 from the 70 split across the Poplar Street Bridge itself. This report is brought to you by Siding Express. Transform your home with the beauty and durability of James Hardie Siding. At Siding Express, they specialize in James Hardie siding installation. Visit sidingexpress.com today to schedule a free consultation. That's sidingexpress.com. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is your chance. Get to ProOutdoor.com before the month expires here and put your name in the hat, and you might win a outdoor lighting package valued at up to $2,500. If you want to know what that's going to look like, go to my my Facebook page there, the Marc Cox Show on Facebook. I put up a picture of my house. I just had Pro Outdoor install one of their beautiful outdoor lighting, residential lighting packages on my home. It's gorgeous. It showcases it. It's great for security. It increases the curb appeal. You need one of these, and you could win one valued at up to $2,500. No purchases necessary. Just go to ProOutdoor.com, click on the residential lighting tab, and you'll see the entry form with the 97.1 logo on it there, and you have a chance to win. You got to sign up by the 31st, and they'll pull a winner on June 6th. So good luck to all of you. In the meantime, if you need irrigation, if you need your sprinkler system worked on, if you need drain tiles put in, Pro Irrigation handles all that and more in addition to these beautiful residential lighting packages. Check them out at ProOutdoor.com.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health from Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health from Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill, or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today, 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Marc Cox here. Join me at the 2025 Missouri Legislative Review, Thursday, June 5th at the Lodge de Pere. Meet top lawmakers, connect with party leaders and grassroots advocates. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Rockin' the free world. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. Kim on a whim.
The Secret Service has now suspended 2 uniformed officers who were caught on camera fighting each other outside Barack Obama's home last week. This is his home in Washington, D.C. that's about 2 or so miles from the White House, just for perspective. And during this physical fight, you can see them in the video fighting. There are 2 female officers who were fighting, and one of them actually grabbed her radio and listened to what she says.
Immediately before I wanted to go.
Really, really professional. Just, I so appreciate that they're really classing it up and doing their job.
Well, here's what she was mad about. So apparently she was working the overnight shift at the Obama mansion, and her relief was late, like 45 minutes or an hour late. And I don't know if she had somewhere to go or she was just sleepy, but she's going to whoop some rear end because this girl did not make it to work on time.
This happened at 2:30 a.m. on May 21st. Now, sleep deprivation does make you go a little bit crazy after a while. So, and having to stand outside there, because I would imagine they're just essentially standing outside the home watching, making sure that no crazy person comes and tries to break into his home. That would get old if you're having to just stand there for hours on end and you're waiting for your person to relieve you of that. But I mean, it's just sad when you see two women catfighting like they're like in high school or something.
There's got to be some history here that we don't know about. I mean, maybe it's possible these two have had a conflict before, or one was dating the other one's ex-boyfriend, or something was going on that finally this was the final straw. So you're dumb enough to get on a radio where everything's recorded and say something like that.
Secret Service says individuals involved were suspended from duty, and this matter is the subject of an internal investigation. Secret Service has a very strict code of conduct for all employees, and any behavior that violates that code is unacceptable. Given the fact that this is a personnel matter, we're not in a position to comment. Now, what you should also note here is that the Secret Service has had some issues lately with some behavior and supervisors or agents attacking other agents, because back in April of 2024, there was an agent who was assigned to protect, at the time, Vice President Kamala Harris. And supposedly there was some sort of an issue where this person went on to attack the supervisor, and that person ended up getting let go. This person was supposedly throwing sanitary pads and screaming at coworkers. That was back in 2024. So I don't know what's going on with this. That's a good point, Mark.
Better than a lamp or a shoe or something, right?
I mean, I guess she's just carrying around sanitary pads and whips them out of her purse. But I don't know what's going on. Secret Service, they can't climb sloped roofs. They throw sanitary pads at each other. They get into cat fights like they're back in high school. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the Secret Service was handled completely differently by the Biden administration.
Oh, absolutely.
So there are bound to be some growing pains as Trump's new appointee takes over. I think it was the person that was on his detail the day he got shot is the guy that he's appointed to take over the Secret Service.
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah.
One of the guys who was seen in the picture when he was getting off the stage, and they had everyone, because remember it was controversial with that woman who was trying to hold him
short.
Up.
Yeah.
The 215-pound Donald Trump.
Well, that's all he weighs. What are you suggesting?
Yeah, and I weigh 100 pounds.
I don't know. You could.
Even while pregnant. 100 pounds.
I have no comment on your weight at all. I'm smart. I'm a long married man.
Let's just talk though. I mean, do women belong in this Secret Service? You could make the argument, yes, for some jobs.
Sure.
I don't think you have to have all men in the Secret Service. But when it comes to, for example, like the whole situation with Donald Trump, I mean, you got to get the man off the stage very quickly.
I would think that, and Barack Obama was very tall as well, and so is George H.W. Bush. I think the detail should be filled with people who are the height of the person they're protecting, because the point is they've got to hover and surround this person and protect them in the event of an emergency. Well, and you saw when he got shot, one of them was a full head shorter than him.
Don't they have to do some sort of a weight test to make sure that they can meet a certain standard before they can be hired?
Standards have clearly dropped. According to the pictures we've seen anyway. Coming up, we're going to talk to the communications director for the Missouri Department of Public Safety. We'll be back in just a minute.
Hey, it's Annie with my friend Stewie, and you know Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan gets you your mortgage or your refinance at no closing costs. And I have Stewie with me right now. You're all about saving people money. Fiscal responsibility is really in right now, and you've got something up your sleeve for these folks.
You know what, Annie? Some people like to get better cash flow. Other people just want to pay off all their debt. So we're going to do something very, very unique. In Scotland, it was traditional to paint the door red once you paid off your mortgage. So we're going to give you the Red Bagel Challenge. If you refinance with us and you consolidate your debt and you get your mortgage paid off in half the period of time remaining, we're going to give you a $1,000 bonus at the end of that term.
Well, Stewie's all about helping you build your wealth and build equity, and the Bagel Loan is another way to do it. Remember, no closing costs with the Bagel Loan. Reach out to Stewie directly with 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can Google Bagel Loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Russia thanks President Trump. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, for what a spokesman calls his tremendous effort trying to broker a peace settlement with Ukraine. The day after one of Russia's leaders, Dmitry Medvedev, gave a veiled World War III threat, reacting to President Trump calling President Vladimir Putin crazy and playing with fire.
Trump envoy General Keith Kellogg responded to Medvedev's threat, writing, "Stoking fears of World War III is an unfortunate, reckless comment by Dmitry Medvedev and unfitting of a world power. President Trump is working to stop this war and end the killing as we await receipt of the Russian memorandum term sheet that you promised a week ago. Ceasefire now."
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Germany, signing new military agreements and talks with a new chancellor who's a big supporter of helping defend Ukraine against Russia's invasion. The Trump administration wants to put foreign students who come to the U.S. to study under more scrutiny with enhanced vetting, putting on hold for now new visa interviews.
We will use and have been using every tool in our tool chest to make sure that we know who it is that wants to come into this country and if they should be allowed to come in.
State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce tells Fox those students can still apply. As the administration and Harvard battle in court over the attempt to prevent the university from enrolling new international students and over federal grant money to Harvard being frozen, all over allegations it allows anti-Semitism on campus, putting Jewish students at risk. Another failure for SpaceX testing its new Starship rocket. After two earlier flights this year exploded over the Atlantic, the one launched last night in Texas did reach space, but
high above the Earth, the main ship's payload door failed to open properly, which prevented SpaceX from deploying simulated Starlink satellites. Moments later, a propellant leak caused Starship to lose its ability to maneuver. The spacecraft began tumbling out of control and burned up during re-entry.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage, or rather, Jonathan Seri. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. 55 degrees at 8:03. Missouri's abortion ban is back, at least for now. This comes after the state Supreme Court ruled Tuesday a circuit court judge applied the wrong standards and rulings on specifically safety requirements for abortion providers. The Supreme Court says the Jackson County judge that made this ruling needs to use a different standard and then reevaluate the case. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe has called a special session to discuss funding for the Chiefs and Royals stadiums and also relief for tornado victims. Lawmakers will also have a chance to pass capital spending projects that didn't pass during the regular session. That special session begins Monday. We did just speak with Senator Adam Schnelting about this and what else he's expecting from this special session. What else could they bring up? You can hit rewind on your Odyssey app. That's free, by the way, and you can hear our conversation again. That was at 7:35. A Berkeley man demanding the owner of a pit bull be held accountable after the dog bit him. Brandon Jameson says he was at a friend's house earlier this month when the dog bit him in the face and he had to get surgery. Jameson filed a report with Berkeley police. Now, there is a pit bull ban in Berkeley. Police don't know where the dog's owner is, but if he's found, he could face a fine or possibly even jail time. 8:04, 55 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk. In sports, the Cardinals beat the Orioles 7-4 yesterday. They'll wrap up the series this evening. First pitch, 5:35. The big news locally for sports, though, if you haven't already heard this, is St. Louis City's head coach Olaf Melberg is out. The team announced his firing Tuesday after, well, I think we'd all call it a rough start to the season if you follow City at all. Just 2 wins in the first 15 matches. City's next match, by the way, coming up on Saturday. 55 degrees, 8:04. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got an accident now on the ramp from northbound 170 to westbound 70, and it involves an overturned box truck. It's been blocking the left side, and they're going to try to get that one cleared. We also have an accident involving a vehicle rescue eastbound 70 west of 270. That is in the right lane, so be careful there as well. So we've got some issues out there this morning. Let me see if they've cleared that accident yet. The one on northbound 270 north of 55. Yeah, they've moved that from the left lane off to the right shoulder. Things should improve through there. Now, this is on top of the regular volume, and that's on eastbound 64 between Lindbergh and Big Bend, westbound slowing near Hampton through Hanley, and northbound 270, slow pockets 44 through Manchester, and some volume that's moderate westbound, headed for and crossing the Poplar Street Bridge. This report is brought to you by New Perspective Senior Living. New Perspective Weldon Spring is redefining senior living with modern apartments, delicious meals, activities, entertainment, and even a state-of-the-art AI fall detection system. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Not much going on with our weather today. Partly sunny skies, pretty nice temperatures for this time of year, 76. Just a tiny chance of a sprinkle. Tonight, partly cloudy, 55. Evening temperatures dropping through the 70s. Not bad at all. Thursday, another weak system coming by. Partly to mostly cloudy, some scattered showers, 74. Scattered showers Thursday night, but Friday is sunny and 75. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Right now, we're in the upper 50s at 8:07. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show at 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere by downloading the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
Listen to both sides. The bottom line is, I respect that. We don't agree.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Just to find a voice. Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
I don't know how to put this.
Marc Cox.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Well, it adds excitement, doesn't it, folks?
All right, welcome back on this Wednesday morning, a few minutes after 8. Glad you were with us. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we asked this question yesterday. This morning, we're going to hopefully get a few answers for you, and that is, how is the state and the federal money going to help people who were impacted by these storms here in Missouri? We know that disaster declarations have been made. FEMA's been on the ground taking a look at that damage. There are also a lot of people out there who did not have insurance on their properties. What happens to those folks? We're going to check in with Mike O'Connell here coming up, who's a communications director for the Missouri Department of Public Safety and works also with the State Emergency Management Agency. And he's been looking at this aid flow and how it's going to come in to the greater St. Louis area. So hopefully Mike can help us narrow down some of that when we get him on here shortly. I heard some interesting information yesterday from some folks, Kim, and that is that the Rams settlement money might play a role in this.
Really?
Because, they tried to pass under Tashara Jones and Megan Green, they tried to pass a bill committing all of that. But the bill didn't pass. So the money's still sitting in the bank, earning about $1 million a month or however much it's earning. It's $700 million. The thought process is that for those people who were impacted, who had no insurance and now have no place to live, some of that RAM settlement money might be used to help them.
I just have mixed feelings about this. I want people to get help. They deserve help. It's just hard when I feel like people are paying for their insurance and then they have to fork over, they have to fork over the money for that. But then somebody who doesn't have insurance just gets everything paid for. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too cynical on this, but that's where my brain goes.
My guess is it'll be a political calculation if that happens, because if the new mayor can go into this area in North St. Louis where a lot of these houses were damaged and fix a lot of that using that RAM settlement money, that's a political win for her. So I don't know that there'll be any other considerations, to be honest.
How do other people feel about like they wanted water infrastructure? I would argue it should be used for public safety, but clearly people don't feel the same way for whatever reason. But then does the city just not get anything else that they wanted because that money all has to go for relief?
Well, it wouldn't all go.
But it'd be a good chunk of it. They had $1.6 billion in estimated damage. Now that's businesses, that's schools, that's churches, that's not just homes. But that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know the answer to that, but I think that's something that they're definitely going to be looking at. Coming up, we're also going to talk to Taylor Riggs. Surprisingly, Elon Musk came out overnight in an interview and is very critical of the big, beautiful bill. That's kind of getting hung up in the Senate. We'll talk to Taylor about that. I don't know if you saw the stock market yesterday. I think it was up like 600 points or something on all of this talk of some sort of a EU deal on tariffs. And I don't know what's going to happen with the market this morning. We'll check in with Taylor Riggs, one of our favorite guests from Fox Business, coming up at about 8:35. Ethan, right now, let's get to our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox short list.
Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles, even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space. And we will have the best system ever built.
The best system ever built. The president is, of course, he's got to get the funding for that from the big, beautiful bill, but he's talking about including Canada, if they want to become the 51st state.
No matter how much he wants to come out now and say, you know what, we're going to start calling the shots like we see them actually now. It's too late. And look, you look at the ratings for all of these legacy media outlets. People are not tuning in because they have lost the American people's trust.
Yeah. So that is Laura Trump saying, you know what, Jake Tapper, too little, too late, pal. What are you doing? What are you doing now apologizing after you chewed me out on the air for questioning Joe Biden's mental capacity?
voted yes to Amendment 3 back in November to allow abortions again in Missouri. But tonight, after a state Supreme Court ruling, the procedures are halted.
Today's ruling comes in response to a circuit judge blocking abortion restrictions.
Yeah, KMOV reporting on that breaking news yesterday. Missouri Supreme Court temporarily halts abortion in the state. What happens next?
No, but you started the conversation, right?
Well, I don't have anything to say. I don't have any comment.
Okay.
Yeah. I have no comment. That was a guy named William Bill Howells who was caught on camera defacing, vandalizing a Tesla over in Kirkwood twice. And the Kirkwood police got involved, and they finally, charges were filed by the city of Kirkwood prosecutor yesterday. It showed up in CaseNet, and we got the information here. This guy is, from what we know, a professor, not a professor, an analyst
of some sort
at Washington University. We know that much. We've reached out to the university a month ago when this happened. They had no comment, but they scrubbed all information about him from their website.
Shocking.
Like you cannot find his name associated with the university anymore. So he walks up to this Tesla, which of course has cameras everywhere, slaps an F Elon sticker on the side of it because he thinks he's smart. And he walks into the shop to get coffee. Well, he did it again 2 days later, and the owner called him out on it. Like he has alerts set up on his phone. This is how smart Teslas are. They'll take a picture of the car being vandalized, then they'll send it to the owner who's sitting in the coffee shop, and he's watching almost in real time somebody vandalize his car. So he approached the guy, challenged him on it. The guy was spineless and tried to run away, and the cops detained him outside, and now he's being charged with harassment.
So I assume the reason they had to go with harassment versus vandalism was because it was a sticker, and they would not consider that permanent damage.
Like if consider it damage.
Well, I would too, probably, because some of those stickers are annoying to get off. But I mean, think if he had like spray painted the car and said F Elon, would that have fallen under the category?
Maybe,
I wonder of vandalism versus
maybe the
harassment
charge is because it happened 2 different occasions,
right, like
to the same car. Yeah. According to the victim here, he heard this has happened in other local towns as well, that he had vandalized other cars, but there have been no other charges. So my challenge this morning to my friends in the local news media is, where's the coverage?
Also, where are you buying these stickers from? Is this
Well,
like an
online,
order on
I'm
Amazon?
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure. But where's the local news media? This happened a month ago with the backdrop of all the Tesla vandalism across the country. This happened a month ago. We had it happen right in Kirkwood. There's video of it and everything. It's custom made for a television news package, and not a single local TV station that I can find went out and covered this. Will they cover it today, now that there's been officially somebody charged?
Probably not.
I don't know. I sent a text message to some friends in the business. We'll see if they actually pay attention to it. And if they don't cover it, why not? That would be my question. Why are you not covering this? You should be covering it. And we emailed Mr. Howells, and he's had no comment so far. Neither has the university, oddly.
That is also shocking.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll stay on top of that for sure. Coming up, we're going to talk to Mike O'Connell from the Department of Public Safety and the State Emergency Management Agency about some of the relief efforts going on here in St. Louis after the tornado cleanup. We'll be back after this.
The Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk. Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Couple of accidents that crews are dealing with, and one of those happens to be the ramp from northbound 170 to westbound 70. There was an accident there, and an accident eastbound 70 west of 270. Watch for that one in the right lane, and that's created a jam behind it that goes back almost to 94. And of course, it's jammed up southbound 270 trying to ramp onto 70. Now, we, other than that, have mainly moderate volume. Eastbound 64 east of Lindbergh through Big Bend. Northbound 270 slow pockets, Gravois up through Ladue Road. And northbound 55 just mainly slow on either side of Bayless. There is some volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge, and IDOT has announced it will close the main line lanes of eastbound 5564 from the Poplar Street Bridge to Broadway in East St. Louis. That'll be today through Friday for emergency bridge deck repairs. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Okay, that weather that came through clearly caused a lot of damage. It damaged a lot of roofs. It damaged vinyl siding. Of course, largely what it didn't do any damage to the last time it happened was Rhino Shield. So if you've got a home that is coated with this ceramic shield, basically it hardens to a ceramic shield because it's 10 times thicker than regular paint. It's lab tested. It is Rhino Shield. For the homes that had this, the last time the hail moved through, you couldn't even tell it had hailed. It just bounced off. And unlike the vinyl siding that it punched holes in and all that. So if you're considering painting your house this summer, don't paint it. Put Rhino Shield on it. It is all the same beautiful colors you might get out of a paint, but it's tough. It's beautifully durable. I've had it on my house. Here's the great thing about it. They put it on a 2 to 3 coat process. They're there maybe about 5 or 6 days at the most. And then guess what? You have no more outdoor maintenance issues for the next 25 years. A 25-year warranty that goes along with Rhino Shield. I was a satisfied customer, and I think you will be as well. Call them today. Call Darren. Tell him you want your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. Online at 877-25rhino.com.
It's not too late for a deep spring cleaning on your home. Give my friends at Zerorez a call today. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning package. Visit ZerorezSL.com and tell me what the Marc Reardon special, or call 314-474-2020.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need, while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
The Diamond Shop graduation sale. All watches are 20% off, even Movado. Men's jewelry is 40% off. 40% off Pirelli G and gold fashion jewelry. Everything else is 30% off. The Diamond Shop.
The man is on a roll. You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com.
Lucky to be alive after her North St. Louis home was leveled.
And you don't remember hearing any sirens?
I didn't hear any sirens. At all.
Yeah, that is a lady whose home was destroyed by this tornado. She's living in a tent in her front yard. They've started a GoFundMe page and some other stuff for her. Had Kim and I discussing yesterday, what will relief money be used for when it gets here, who benefits from it, all of that. And I've asked my friend Mike O'Connell, who is the communications director for the Missouri Department of Public Safety these days, to join us this morning. Mike, how are you?
Doing real good. Thank you. Good to be with you.
Great to hear your voice again, man.
You sound different.
Oh, I do, huh? Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe my hearing's going.
Older and wiser, maybe?
Oh, that's it, Mike. Older and wiser. Come on, my friend. Mike and I worked together, 15 years at Channel 4 together? Probably.
Yes,
Yeah.
93, the end of 93, we came in when people were clearing out because they'd all covered the 93 flood.
Yep.
And we're getting other jobs. And then I was there until the end of 2008.
Okay. And I left in 2012. So a long time. So you've been working for the state of Missouri now for a while. And I saw you on the ground the other day with part of the state emergency management agency team that was up here looking at damage. Where do things stand right now, Mike, from your point of view?
So those teams completed. They went really hard and long for 2 days and were able to document all of the damage to houses and residences. They got that data to FEMA, to the governor, and the governor was able to make a request on Sunday for individual assistance, which would bring disaster assistance from FEMA to families and individuals to help their recovery, temporary housing, home repairs, replacement of medical supplies that they lost, things to help them, start their recovery. It's just the basic needs. And then there would be low interest loans from the Small Business Administration for them to actually get back to where they once were. So the FEMA assistance is try to get it so you can live in your house and then rebuild around it as you're in that house. What's happening today now is there going to be what's called public assistance preliminary disaster damage assessments. And that is where they look at the damage to roads, bridges, public buildings. And the idea is that there'll be a separate request once they have those numbers. But the governor is prioritizing, as he should, getting the assistance to the people who need it desperately so that they can go on with their lives and start their recovery process.
So how is that determined then who specifically gets the money? Because you have a lot of people, what is it, like some 60% of the people who are hit are not insured, but it almost doesn't seem fair, I guess, that those people would receive all the money just because they weren't insured, and then the other people who did have home insurance get nothing. How is that determined?
Yeah. So first off, as well, people who are underinsured would get assistance as well. The idea is, this is a FEMA program. So another colleague of Marc and mine, John Mills, works for FEMA. And so John might wind up being on your program if we get a disaster declaration, and he can go into more detail. But the idea is that FEMA is not going to pay for things that is already covered through insurance. And the idea is that, for instance, as we go through these neighborhoods, you see a lot of elderly people who are on fixed incomes, and half of their house is gone, and they've got a tarp over it. And the idea is, how can we help these people so that they can stay where they are and survive? So that's the purpose. It doesn't replace insurance, and it's not, if you have $100,000 worth of insurance on your house, FEMA isn't going to be anything like that. The typical grants are several $1,000s just to help people replace the medical equipment. There's assistance if you have a funeral, unfortunately, because of somebody who you lost in that disaster. So that's how the FEMA program works.
So it wouldn't necessarily come in and rebuild the home for them, correct?
No, exactly.
Oh, okay,
so
yeah.
The idea is, can we put somebody up for a couple of weeks? And that's going to help because the shelter population is actually started to go up a little bit, I'm told, because what happens after a disaster is people can stay with friends, relatives, but after a while, it gets to be tight. There's limited space. And so they're actually looking now at opening another shelter and seeing if how long they can sustain the shelters that are already open. So The idea is to try to help people get back on their feet, and then they're responsible for rebuilding. And, if you got to replace a car, rebuild the house, put on a new roof, that's not covered. This is to get you started on the recovery.
Very good. Mike O'Connell, listen, great to hear your voice, my friend. I appreciate you giving me some time today.
All right. Good to be with you.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. Mike O'Connell there with the Missouri Department of Public Safety and, of course, the State Emergency Management Agency, and some interesting information there. So
that's helpful.
The FEMA monies will not come in. That I still think the city will end up tapping into some of that RAM settlement money to rebuild in some of these areas. And then, you're going to have the business owners thinking, well, how about me? And
right.
I mean, everybody who was affected by it, if they're going to start using the money for that. Yeah. All right. Coming up, Taylor Riggs, Fox Business, in just a minute. Stay tuned.
Another RX Watch, brought to you by Onder Law.
Welcome back to RX Watch. This alert is disturbing.
Right. A while back, we learned that companies like Johnson & Johnson use a mineral called talc in baby powder and other products.
And studies show that talc, when used for feminine hygiene, can cause ovarian cancer.
Now listen to this. RX Watch has learned that the talc they use is being mined in China.
Right, and talc mined in China contains heavy metal contaminants like chromium and magnesium, which are known to cause cancer. But China doesn't care.
So China gets the jobs and we get contaminated talc in our baby powder.
And ovarian cancer.
Right. With their specialized tests, the medical team at Onder Law can help you know if your ovarian cancer was caused by talc.
Onder Law has helped women for years with free and confidential consultation. You need to call Onder Law's pharma attorneys at 1-800-RX-WATCH.
Call Onder Law at 1-800-RX-WATCH.
That's 1-800-RX-WATCH, or go to rxwatch.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Let's talk about your retirement for just a minute. It's one of those things that you talk about, you dream about, you tell everybody what you're hoping to do in retirement, and then the hard reality comes along and you got to pay for it. Now, if you're retired, you have your pot of money, and then the market where your money is invested goes down 30%. Do you have time to recover? These are the questions you'll get asked by Thomas Elbig and Bob and Tammy Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. It's what they deal with all the time. They didn't lose a penny of their clients' money when the market went down this most recent time, and their clients are very happy about that. So if that's the situation you'd like to find yourself in, go sit down with them. They'll be happy to explain to you how they do it and what they've been doing for over 38 years now. 314-993-9494. That is 314-993-9494. Go in for a free retirement review, or you can schedule online at retirementkey.com.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. 23andMe has announced it will voluntarily delist from the NASDAQ and deregister with the SEC. The company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in March. Okta topped estimates for the first fiscal quarter of 2026, but maintained its guidance due to an uncertain macro backdrop. The identity management software company said it's taking a prudent approach to its outlook. CEO Todd McKinnon said in an interview with CNBC that some discussions with customers have turned more cautious. Stellantis has appointed North American Chief Operating Officer Antonio Filosa as its new chief executive. The appointment means Filosa will succeed Carlos Tavares, who unexpectedly resigned in December after a sharp drop in profit, falling sales, and problems in the U.S. Futures are currently mixed. On Tuesday, the Dow Industrials gained 740, the NASDAQ up 461, the S&P 500 up 118. That's Your Money Now.
What does the future of mobility in Michigan sound like? That's the sound of new EV charging stations at our state parks. That's the sound of over $20 billion in new investments to produce EVs and batteries in Michigan. And that's the silence of Michigan's new En-Road wireless charging system. Discover all the ways MEDC is driving next-gen mobility in Michigan at michiganbusiness.org.
Everyone on the road is trying to make it to their destination safely. You can help by staying aware of the large trucks and buses around you. They take longer to stop, have large blind spots, and make wide turns that require caution from other drivers. It takes all of us working together to share the road safely. Learn more at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov. Paid for by FMCSA.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident on the ramp from northbound 170 to westbound 70. And they've got it off as far as they can to the left, but still some flashing lights on the scene there. This one involved an overturned box truck. And an accident eastbound 70 west of 270 has been blocking the right lane and creating a jam behind that as well. So if you are coming across the Blanchette Bridge, there's a delay because of that this morning. Now, eastbound 64 is in pretty good shape. It's a little slow, though, just east of Lindbergh through Big Bend. Northbound 270, some moderate volume in pockets, Gravois up through Ladue Road. 55 still a little bit slow on either side of Bayless. And some volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge, although it's mainly moderate. This report brought to you by Siding Express. Transform your home with the beauty and durability of James Hardie Siding. At Siding Express, they specialize in James Hardie siding installation. You can visit sidingexpress.com today to schedule a free consultation. That's sidingexpress.com. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. If you are at a place where you're wondering if you have saved enough money for retirement, you are not alone. Because here's what mostly we know. All right, you just have to save money, and then eventually you retire, and that money is supposed to take you through that. But you need to know more than that. This is why I like the idea of a class on it, because we don't know how to get the most out of the tax code, when to take Social Security. And that's what they teach in a one-night adult education class called Retirement Planning 101, taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects. And they have decades of experience with this. But that's what you learn. Here's how to reduce taxes. Here's a little bit about maximizing your Social Security income. They do this for free, but they ask that you bring 3 canned goods for St. Louis Crisis Nursery. There are some openings this month and next, but you have to register. So call 314-947-2012, 314-947-2012, and learn a little bit. You'll feel better.
The St. Jude Dream Home Giveaway is your ticket to saving kids' lives and a chance to win the home of your dreams. Check out the 2025 St. Louis St. Jude Dream Home Ticket pop-up and get your ticket before anyone else. Friday, May 30th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Frank Lita Honda. Reserve your $100 ticket at the dealership before they officially go on sale June 5th. That's at Frank Lita Honda, 500 Auto Mall Drive in O'Fallon. Support the life-saving mission of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital to help cure childhood cancer.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Get your daily dose of common sense. The Marc Cox Morning Show. Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
much for the man. Too much for the man. He couldn't make it. So he's leaving.
I was like disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
I actually thought that when this big, beautiful bill came along, everything he's done on Doge gets wiped out in the first year.
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful.
This bill that passed today.
but it can't be both, I guess, is the point. I'm not sure what's playing there. But yeah, that's Elon Musk. If you didn't recognize the voice there, Kim, talking about the fact that he's disappointed with the big, beautiful bill. What do you think?
I'm really surprised he came out and said that.
Well,
it doesn't bode well when people go against Trump. And I'm just shocked Elon said that publicly. And now I wonder what might come of it.
What the blowback might be for that. I don't know. Yesterday, our friend Marc Reardon had Jason Smith on, our congressman, and from Missouri. And he's the one that worked on this so hard. And, his big issue is he's happy with the bill, but he's also wants people to understand what it does on Medicaid, because he's heard a lot of lies out there. Listen to this. Whoops, I'm sorry. That would be my fault. I turned my audio down because I wasn't sure what was playing. Hang on here. Well, I've still got something going on here. Here, let's try this.
Does Medicaid not have it? TANF has it. And so we put that in place. And so that is one of the big reforms in it. Also, some of the big reforms within Medicaid was also making sure that illegals aren't receiving welfare benefits. That was a big part of the savings within this bill.
Yep. So that was Jason Smith, our congressman. Right now, we've got Taylor Riggs from the Big Money Show on Fox Business on the phone. And Taylor, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah. So I guess Elon Musk has now come out critical of the big, beautiful bill. And you've got several senators, Ron Johnson among them, Rand Paul, who are definite no's on this, it appears. What are you guys hearing? How's the market reacting to that news?
Yeah, the market actually, I think, is hopeful that we're going to get something done. So the good news is, I think in the long term, people know eventually we'll get something done. It's just about what's in the details. And frankly, I agree with Elon Musk. I feel bad. He put his reputation, his company, his life on the line to tackle Doge, and we're not taking it seriously. We're not taking spending cuts seriously. And so I do feel bad in part that it feels like a slap in the face to him for everything that he put himself through to really try to take on this challenge. People who are elected want to be reelected, and they're not getting serious about spending cuts. I always talk about this as my 5-4 split decision Supreme Court opinion, where I read the majority and it sounds clear and convincing and I'm on their side. And then I read the dissenting opinion and it's clear and consistent and I agree with their side. So on one hand, I agree that a deal is better than no deal. I don't want perfect to get in the way of good. On the other hand, and we need this bill to pass because we need the tax cuts to be extended. But on the other hand, I'm thinking this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to cut spending. This moment may never happen again.
Yeah.
When is the next time when voters will go to the polls and really be serious about tackling our debt and our deficit? I don't want this moment to pass us by. So, look, yes, we have to get the bill done, and it has to get done soon. But again, at what cost? And I think there's so many growthy moments in this bill that I love, and we can grow our way out of debt to some extent. But I also know that a lot of people went to the polls not to slow the increase in spending, but to actually cut spending. And I think that's where a lot of people like Ron Johnson are saying, I'm a no until we really cut spending.
Yeah.
You make a really good point. And Taylor, I would agree with you. I think there's a lot of good in the bill and it's worth passing it. It needs to be passed. But, with any bill, you're not going to have 100% of it where you're on board. This being the case, too. they already had a hard time passing into the House, and I think they'll face a similar challenge in the Senate. Do you think the concern was that they felt like lawmakers 100% would not pass it if they had done too much as far as trying to make cuts? You think that was the issue?
Yeah, and this is where I've talked to you guys a lot about. I am so pro-America and pro-democracy that this is where China can kind of win in some cases when they think in 100-year terms, and we're thinking about midterms next fall. And originally in the House bill, they didn't want the Medicaid reductions, like the cuts in work requirements, for example, to come in until after the midterms. Well, I'm smart enough to know why you did that, because you're playing politics with me.
Yes.
So thankfully, I think it was the House Freedom Caucus that said, I don't want work requirements to kick in 2029. I want them to kick in by the end of 2026. Thank you. Work requirements is simple. If you're an able-bodied adult, let's show, I think it was only 80 hours a week. If you can prove that you're working, great. But why are we incentivizing so many men that are able-bodied to sit around and not work?
Yeah.
I don't want that to kick in 2029. I needed that to kick in yesterday, and I'm willing to settle for the end of 2026. But if we're so concerned about the midterms, again, I'm worried about getting this stuff done yesterday, because that's what I voted for 6 months ago. So, look, I know it's politics and we have to win elections, but I'm a little worried that the American people, we voted for growth, but we also voted to cut debt and deficit.
That's very true. Taylor, what are you watching with earnings this morning? Is NVIDIA earnings report today?
Oh, it is everything we are watching. It happens tonight after the bell, just after 4 p.m.
Okay.
Look, it is going to be everything. Revenue could jump 60, 70% year over year. The bottom line earnings profit could be up 44% year over year. Look for any commentary on how the chip export restrictions to China are or are not hurting the company. Do they have to write down any excess inventory that they are not able to sell to China? Again, what do they say about AI? This has just become such a bellwether for the market that everyone watches what Jensen Huang, the CEO, says, given he's sort of the leader and taking us through AI.
Yeah, I'm glad when the market started to go down a month and a half ago, my financial advisor told me to buy some NVIDIA, and we did. So I'm glad that I did. That was good timing,
buy
right?
and hold and talk to me in 30 years from now and let me know how your NVIDIA trade's going.
Yeah, this is very true. So I have a question for you. It is May 28th. Have you graduated from law school yet?
Oh, I did. I graduated a week ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I know. I remembered you telling me it would be May sometime. So now do we have to introduce you as Taylor Riggs Esquire, or what's the new title?
Let's just do Taylor Riggs.
Okay. All right.
How about that?
We'll be watching you on the Big Money Show. Congratulations, by the way.
I appreciate it. Thanks for your time, as always.
You bet. We'll talk soon. Taylor Riggs there. Little bit of an overachiever. She's having babies while she's going to law school, while she's running marathons.
Oh, I didn't tell you I'm doing the same thing.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah. Actually, I'm getting my doctorate and all.
And when's that marathon?
Tomorrow. Yeah, I'm running it after the show.
Are you running down to the to Chris's Pancake House across the street?
Yeah, to get a big old stack of pancakes.
That
sounds so amazing.
It does sound good, though, doesn't it?
Pancakes are Chinese food and pancakes are probably the two things I crave the most. Not even when I'm pregnant, just in life,
in general,
but especially when I'm pregnant. Oh my gosh! Way to go, Mark! You had to bring that up.
I'm sorry, I had to bring that up there. Yeah. All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and recap some of this morning's top stories. We've had a big day. We'll be right back.
Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com. Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we've had some action here at the end of the commute involving an accident on eastbound 70 west of 270. It's been blocking the right lane with a jam back across the Blanchette Bridge, and southbound 270 slowing in that area. We also had an accident occur on northbound 170 That's on the ramp to westbound 70, and they're still partially blocking that left lane, that one involving an overturned box truck. But other than that, we're okay, which is to say, if you are eastbound on 64, just some moderate volume on either side of 170, moderate volume on northbound 270 between Big Bend and Ladue Road. And northbound 55 is slow, ramping on to northbound 270. 55 itself slowing in the construction zone here and there, north of Rivas Barracks. And some volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. Not a solid jam, but a slow go. This report brought to you by Point with an E Pest Control. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Point Pest Control is reminding you it's time to spray for mosquitoes. How can something that tiny interrupt your outside gatherings? Have Point Pest Control spray today so your next outside gathering is mosquito-free. 636-798-0023. Mention Annie to save an additional 10%. PointPestControl.com.
Well, my roofer is Curtis Correll of Correll Roofing Company, and he's going to come to my house probably Thursday of this week, probably tomorrow, so we can pick out the color of my new roof, which is getting replaced because of hail damage. So if you've had hail damage from this recent storm, I'm going to recommend you work with Curtis as well. I've known him for a long time. He's hometown boy. He's got a crew with over 20 years of experience. A lot of people that fly into town and try to get these roofing jobs, they don't even live here. What happens if you have a problem? You want a company that's local that you can stand behind. That's Correll Roofing. They pay attention to detail. They're not going to overcommit so that it's going to take you 6 months to get a roof. That's not going to happen with Correll Roofing. You can check them out on Facebook at Correll Roofing Company there on Facebook, or I can give you Curtis's cell phone number, and you call him if you want him to come over and give you a bid and be honest with you. He checked out my daughter's house and she didn't have enough damage for a new roof. He's going to be honest with you, and that's what you're looking for. 314-222-9529. Again, that's the phone number for Correll Roofing and my friend Curtis Correll, 314-222-9529.
We all have different ideas of the perfect retirement, but they all depend on the same thing, not running out of money. And preparing for retirement can sometimes be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Find out how you could build your retirement on your terms. Join host Steve All for the All Financial Hour Saturday mornings at 6 here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
Cardinals fans, there are more ways this season to watch your Cardinals on FanDuel Sports Network. For the first time, you can subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network and stream the Cardinals without blackouts. Monthly, seasonal, and annual packages available. Also new this season, you can stream FanDuel Sports Network through Amazon Prime Video with an add-on subscription. As always, you can watch FanDuel Sports Network through TV providers including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more. Visit Cardinals.com/TV to learn more.
The Cards, the Orioles.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 5:35. Play ball. Siteman Cancer Center, national leader in cancer.
The home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, if you can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today. 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
The Annie Fry Show.
Representative Eric Burleson is on with us.
Now you've got lefty, reporters writing books about all this cover-up. This may be one of the greatest scandals, at least of our generation.
Weekdays from noon to 3. Locked and loaded. The Marc Cox Morning Show. The Marc Cox Morning Show. On the air and streaming at 971talk.com.
So the president has a pardon czar. Did you know that? He's got somebody that
works with him, whose job is to look at people who might need pardons.
Who is that for Trump?
I don't know. I don't know who she is. I saw her name, but I've never heard of her. And yesterday, the president said he plans to pardon Todd and Julie Chrisley, best known as Chrisley Knows Best reality TV stars. I tried to watch that show. I don't know what it is about that guy's voice. I could not listen to him talk. I just couldn't. I couldn't. Not that I would normally watch reality shows, but I did start to see an episode of that one time, and I just couldn't watch.
You're
it.
more of a Housewives kind of guy.
Yeah, I like Housewives, L.A. specifically better.
They look familiar to me because obviously their faces are plastered all over the news right now. I've never even heard of that show. Was it just
Really?
like drama? Yeah, I'm not big on reality either.
Well, it's these two people, and they had 10 kids or something.
Oh,
okay. They had a bunch of kids, and I don't even know what he did for a living. I don't know.
So
but
it's just about their life? I guess that's what reality TV is.
Right. And I don't know if he was like a designer or a home builder or something. Anyway, they were convicted of fraud and tax evasion. And Trump, they've been in jail now for a little while, and Trump has now pardoned them.
Look,
apparently.
I'm not saying this was a mistake. I don't know anything about this couple aside from what you've just told me there, but I had this thought the other day as it relates to, Fauci and Hunter Biden, and just questioning if presidents have too much power when it comes to these pardons. And obviously it's easy for me to say that because I don't like the fact that he hunted pardon. Yeah. He pardoned Hunter, and it was like an 11-year pardon or something ridiculous like that. But I mean, really, should there be some sort of stricter restrictions on these?
Getting hunted could have a whole bunch of meanings.
Well, they might.
If you've seen the laptop.
Now they've reopened. The FBI is reopening the investigation into who left the cocaine at the White House. So maybe that can be called he got hunted.
Yeah, no kidding. See, that's one of the things. They're going to reopen that investigation. Thank God. Now, I've had a hard time believing that there's a house in America that has more cameras than the White House. How in the world could there not be a camera where people come in and place things in that box? Because if they place something in there that's illicit, you need to be able to go back later and find out who it was.
What was that room again? What's it used for?
It's one of the entrances to the White House, for the private entrance to the White House. And it's on the side of the room where they have security meetings and stuff like that, I guess. I don't know.
So only certain people have
access to it, and they don't have a camera. But family members had access to it, which is why I had a hard time believing they couldn't figure out who that belonged to. They only got a partial fingerprint. Well, did they ever fingerprint Hunter Biden? I know they've got his fingerprints now because he's been on trial.
I don't expect anything to come from this investigation, but let's just be excited that they're at least reopening it.
It'll be like the JFK investigation.
This is a bombshell report. It was a nothing burger.
Yeah, no kidding. By the way, we did update the story for you this morning. If you're just joining us, that there's been charges filed in the Tesla vandalism over in Kirkwood. It took a while. Because it happened a month ago. It happened at the beginning of this month. May 2nd, I believe, is when we reported it to you here. And now they've charged a guy named William Howells. He works over at Wash U, apparently, was the one going around and slapping F. Elon bumper stickers on Teslas. And in Kirkwood, he got caught doing it twice to the same car, and they've now charged him with harassment. And we've reached out to his employer, reached out to him, no comment, and he's got a court date set for July over in Kirkwood. So they finally charged him, just as an update to that story. Now, here's your challenge today. Look at local news websites and maybe watch a newscast later and see if any of them cover it. And then when they don't, ask yourself why. If that's not a news story, I don't know what is.
Send him an email.
I've texted a friend of mine in the business.
Viewers can send
they
an email.
should.
Yeah.
Why are you not covering the story? It's a nationwide story, and here's an example of it right here in town. Plus, you've got video. It's an easy package. All right. The Kill Me Show's coming up next. We'll find out tomorrow if any of them took our advice. Have a great day.